I was just live a little bit ago and I charged my battery, but I don't want to exclude people from other faiths. So I want to make that evident in the video. Um, I saw that Stanley wanted to come on and wanted to talk, but I was in the middle of a biblical Unitarian discussion, right? A fellowship. So I don't want people to think that I don't want to engage with them. I certainly do. So if Stanley wants to come on, I have no problem engaging at certain times with people. I don't even know if my messages are being sent out. I might have reached my 3 term limit today on videos. So if I've gone over my 3 videos a day limit, nobody's even going to get this notification. Nobody's going to know that I'm online. So I don't want people to think that they can't come on and talk theology. I don't mind talking with Trinitarians. I'm not going to do it on my fellowshipping, right? I'm going to have days set up for fellowshipping. So if somebody wants to come on and talk, I'll certainly engage with them. I'm not going to say, well, no, I'm not going to allow that. I'm not going to allow that on the fellowship time. That's a fellowship time. But if Stanley and other people want to come on and talk about the Trinity and they want to give their position, I'm cool with that. I'm fine with that. I'm not going to disallow times when I can engage with Trinitarians and they want to come on. This channel and fellowship, that's what my fellowship is for people that want a fellowship. During those times, I'm not going to allow people to come on and give me their testimony. But on certain times, like open mics and stuff, sure, come on, talk. I'm not going to exclude people because you're not going to reach people if you don't allow discussion. Okay, so I don't want people to get the wrong idea. This channel is not a channel where I'm just going to host debates and theological arguments and stuff. I want a channel for fellowship. But if somebody wants to come on during an open mic or something like that, come on. I'll bring you up. I have no problem engaging with people. In fact, if there's people out now, I know Stanley wanted to come on earlier. I don't want to cut Stanley out. I want him to know that we can have discussions. Come on, come up. I don't want to argue. We can have discussions though, if you want to be respectful. Sure, come on, let's talk. But I don't want people to come on during my biblical fellowshipping. See, I don't want people to do that because then it becomes no fellowship. People don't have a community. But if it's open mic, I'll be down for whatever. People can come on, Muslim, Jehovah's Witness, Trinitarians, come on. I have no problem. So this is an opportunity for those. I've got a little bit of time. For those people who want to come on and talk theology, who might have questions about biblical Unitarianism, who might have problems with my theology, who might think that I'm deceived, who might want to enlighten me, who might want to bring me to the truth. I'll engage with Trinitarians on this channel, but I'm not going to do it during the biblical fellowship. That's the time when we set apart, where we're just going to have fellowship with each other. And all the other times, I don't mind because, like I said, I would be a hypocrite if I didn't allow people to give testimony of their faith and see where they might have problems, test my faith, right? Just to allow myself to live in an echo chamber, that's not going to benefit me. I want to learn from people. So I know Stanley wanted to pop on earlier. Stanley, if you're listening, pop on, man. The link's there. If you want to challenge me on my position, that's fine. But as long as things are respectful, I'm down with that. I don't run from anybody. I just don't want to have people interrupt my fellowship time because I think that's pretty much a sacred time. But as far as Trinitarians, Jehovah's Witness, Muslims, I don't have problems engaging with people. In fact, I go on other people's channels and engage with them. I think it's good. You always want to test yourself. I think Jehovah's Witnesses, they don't test themselves enough. They allow themselves to remain in a vacuum, and that's why they kind of remain deceived. I don't want to remain deceived. If I'm deceived, I want to know. I'm not out to prove myself right. Like, I don't care. If I was found out that the biblical Unitarian faith was wrong, I would dump it right now. My channel I would end it. I would delete everything and I would start new. But I would take some time and learn. But what I don't see is the same thing in the other faiths. I don't see Trinitarians really challenging themselves. They want to prove themselves right. To me, I can't really engage with people like that because when they're deceived, they're not even going to recognize it. I want somebody that wants to be open to being wrong, just like I am. And if Trinitarians make good arguments and they can actually back up what they believe without being naughty and nasty and making things up, I would shift. But remember, I was a Trinitarian, so it's not like it's going to be really a new revelation to me. Oh, I didn't see that before. Wow, okay, I must have missed that. It's going to take a lot for me to change. So if you're a Trinitarian, Stanley, whoever, I don't want people to think that they're not welcome. They certainly are welcome. And Stanley can pop on. I know Stanley was the one who wanted to pop on, and I didn't want to bring him up because I was talking about biblical Unitarian fellowship. But again, I don't want people to think that they have no place or they can't come on. I don't want to engage with them, because that's not true. I like engaging with people of different faiths. That's how I learn. I test myself. I learn. Weird hearing him defending it with only the church and tradition. Not that I disagree. Me and the Bible alone would have come up with some other heresy without the church. The professor, this guy is looking at one of my Twitter feeds. It's kind of funny. Defend it with only the church and tradition. Not that I disagree. Me and the Bible alone would have come up with some other heresy without the church. I don't know what this guy's talking about. I'm looking at my Twitter feed right now, and he's talking about Matt. So yeah, I don't see anybody coming on. I gave people some time, but I don't see anybody available. Let's see. I'm looking at. I don't know what this guy's even. I don't know what this guy even believes. He says weird. He spelled weird wrong. Weird hearing him defend it with only the church and tradition. So he's taking my side again. Not that I disagree. Me and a Bible alone would have come up with some other heresy without the church. I don't. He's quoting my Matt Slick debate that I had. This guy says I'm gonna have to watch it right now. But if he rejects it, I can't see how he's not stated. I'm gonna have to comment right now. I'm gonna have to comment. I'm gonna comment on that. No. I'm gonna say that no, there's no son in that verse. You really want me to believe that the Trinity is down couple of riddles and hints? I have to read in the scripture? You're joking, right? You are joking, right? Nah, this is not something that Jesus and the apostles never taught. Something that Jesus and the apostles you can keep it. Okay, so yeah, people are commenting on my Twitter feed saying that basically the conversation with Matt Slick that I had was not biblical or whatever. Oh, we got somebody here. Is this? It's Josiah. Hey, what's up, Josiah? I think it's Josiah. I think you're muted. Oh, yeah.
I'm sorry about that.
That's all right.
Good. I'm doing well. How about yourself?
Hey, good. Hey, great work you did on that GPT stuff, man. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah, true Unitarian GPT.
Yeah, I like that, man. I was like, I heard you talking on Faithful's channel, and I thought I'd check it out, man. That's impressive stuff. That's a lot of work.
Oh yeah, I spent a lot of time. It has thousands of pages of Unitarian.
Man, yeah, I was pretty impressed. I don't think people really realize when you mentioned it how significant and how much work that is. That's pretty amazing.
Yeah, it works pretty well. I mean, there's three ways to train a GPT, right? There's three ways to kind of there's the there's the memory that you augment, which is one way. There's the system instructions, and there's also tuning. And so the combination of the system instructions as well as the augmenting its knowledge base with the document that I provided, goes a long way to producing a very effective and intelligent GPT.
Yeah.
But yeah, I want to take it further one of these days and actually do fine tuning, because when you think of you know, augmenting its knowledge base versus fine tuning, it's kind of like book knowledge versus experiential knowledge. And so when you do the fine tuning, it's more like intrinsic. That's part of its thinking process of associating certain concepts or topics with each other in a way that a human might do so. And you can do that much more effectively through tuning, but it's a lot more work.
Yeah, I do. I'm an IT engineer myself, so I'm pretty familiar with, like, you'd have to do, like, you have data collection. You collect your data, like the corpus gathering, right? You gather text from like articles and stuff. I don't know if that's what you do to incorporate stuff, that you pre-process everything, like
That's what I did.
Like tokenization, basically.
Yeah,
like,
you tokenize the text, and you that's basically what it does. And then you have very specific system instructions, which
well, it's like the BPE, right? The byte pair encoding you would use to basically the algorithms, I think, you would handle. I don't know if you guys do that too, but I'm not too much into the GPT side, but I do coding and I do like architecture for like transformers and stuff, design.
That's cool.
Yeah. But
yeah.
Let me pull it up and I'll show you people that want to watch later. I think I was pretty impressed. I was like, man, that's a lot of work. I think it doesn't get the coverage that it really should. So let me pull that up. So this is the coverage, and unfortunately I ended my live stream that had more people on it, and I didn't want to shun people away that want to talk about the Trinity or whatever. I just don't want to do it on my fellowshipping time, but
Sure.
This is your channel, right? This is your website here, right? Chat GPT Bible.
This is GPT.Bible.
Yeah.
This has the critical New Testament, which basically documents thousands of textual variants. And it's an AI translation that's it's transparent. I think it's really awesome. It's, there's no perfect translation, but I think it's better than just about any English translation out there.
Yeah, no, it's anything that you want to, like, anything that somebody might not know, like right on the top, like when they come to this channel, like something that could help them out really quick, like somebody that shows up maybe that doesn't have any familiarity with the transformer design or things like the encoders and decoders and stuff. What would, like, if they just want to find something, like say I'm a newbie and I wanted to come and look at this page here, what is it about? What does it do? Like, say I want to go to Matthew, what's it going to give me here?
It's going to give you a Matthew. The default translation is the AI Critical New Testament. You can change it between, I think there's like 8 different translations. You can go into also primitive mode where it takes away text, which is probably added later, and makes it easier to read. But yeah, you can, if you click on Matthew 1, you can go to other chapters, or you can, the search functionality is very powerful. If you go to the little icon with the Bible, the AICNT on the top right, you can change the translation, or you can go into parallel mode. So you can look at like the King James versus the AI New Testament. You can also, look at the Old Testament. I don't have an AI version of the Old Testament, but it's a very robust tool.
Yeah. I was really impressed when I was like, wow. So this is basically, this is kind of a translation that's taken from the ancient texts that are more accurate, right? That have more accurate readings along with the language. Is that correct?
Yeah, it's rendered directly from the Greek into English using a certain protocol and instructions. And it also, beyond that, its primary value is as a critical edition, which shows textual variants. So there's no English translation that gives you the extensive matrix or, all the footnotes that this has of all the early manuscript, every variant that's significant in the early manuscripts. So if you see like the Son of God in Mark 1 in brackets, single brackets, and you click, you hover over the B in verse 1, it shows you that it's absent from Sinaiticus and one of the critical editions.
Wow.
Although,
When you develop this, did the AI generate this and you had to put these in yourself, or did the AI actually generate these and put these little footnotes there for you?
No, the footnotes is 100% manual. It's me looking at
Wow.
different critical editions.
Dang.
And there's thousands of them. So it's taken me so much. I'm not even finished with the apparatus. The translation's finished, but
Right.
I'm still adding footnotes. I published John, Luke, and Revelation, so that's complete. But I'm still working through all the we see in Mark and Matthew. A lot of the footnotes are there, but I'm going through a more extensive reference to get even more footnotes that the common critical editions don't have as many footnotes or variants that the this other apparatus has. That's way more extensive.
I'm impressed with it. Like I said, anybody that wants to check it out, GPT Bible. Josiah is the one. And you worked with Dustin Smith a little bit on it too, like for doing the language translation. Is that true? Or
yeah, Justin is the co-editor, and he reviewed the translation through the first pass, and then also before I publish, like the particular books separately, he's reviewing those before publication. So he helped with some of the editorial decisions and reviewing the translation to make sure there's no red flags. Also, just to validate the process to get a high level of confidence that the protocol and methodology is going to deliver an accurate translation.
Right.
One of the things I had to do was like develop a method to render smaller strings of text, because when you render a larger paragraphs, it starts knowing what you're trying to render, so it becomes more biased.
Right. Doesn't have much of a playing field.
Yeah, the trick is to render phrases or words at a time, and you get a higher level of accuracy. And every variant was rendered. So if I had a Greek phrase where there's a variant, that phrase was rendered separately from all the variants were rendered separately, so we get a high accuracy translation of each variant as well.
So do you have like token limits when you talk about like there's maximum tokens and minimums? I know that like I don't know much about GPT, but I know programming, you have pre-trained transformers, that are already set up like in there. And so they, like I said, when you have something that's kind of controlled, and then you run your GPT on them, there's not really it's kind of like a small pool, so you're going to get a biased reading. Do you have like what do you do to avoid that? You just kind of like you have to engineer it correct, right?
Yeah, it's a combination of things. It's the system instructions, which it's instructed to be theologically neutral. And to render from the Greek using the BDAG lexicon. So it's not intended to like search for another English translation and just provide with that translation. It's there's no English input. It's all Greek, and it's basically a machine translation that's very rigid. It's not flexible. There's also like parameters that you can. I have the API access. Like I was one of the first people to get early API access, so I had an account with OpenAI, and it cost me hundreds of dollars in terms of rendering. Using GPT-4, which is the more advanced but slower rendering engine, and I'm really happy with the outcome. I'm hoping to get it finished next year in terms of all the variants being documented.
I think that people, like I said, I don't think they really realized. I mean, it's very polished. It's very professional looking. I was pretty blown away. Like I was like, man, that takes a lot of, because like I said, I do programming. I'm more of an engineer myself, but I know the work that it takes to behind the scenes to do all that stuff. People just don't really appreciate the work that it takes to I mean, come on, like all the footnotes in here.
This is a huge, it's
taken a lot of work.
Oh yeah, I spent so much time on this.
I
It's
mean, your
crazy.
websites are, you have lots of websites and the perfection, and they're just very clean. I mean, you you spend a lot, well, not time, but just meticulous detail. Like it's not clunky, it's put together. So I kind of, I'm really disappointed, like the competency here, but also just the engineering behind it and be able to do that. People really need to take advantage of it. And it's sad that I think if this was a Unitarian that was doing this, this would be all over. People would download it by the thousands. But I have you kind of like it, I saw it was like on Amazon. Is that something like a book, or is that
Yeah, I mean, I've had trouble getting it promoted on Amazon. I paid for paid advertising, and it was like it cost more money to advertise than to actually sell a book. I mean,
wow.
it actually cost me more to sell a book than I would make on the revenue from it.
Yeah.
I think it might be because AI is involved that it doesn't show in the normal.
Oh.
So I need to figure out a marketing campaign, like maybe Google, maybe YouTube ads or Facebook ads that are
Look it up on
direct.
ChatGPT. Say, how do I develop a good marketing campaign out of ChatGPT and things? So you can see here the search results for Josiah's ChatGPT, and again, he leveraged Dustin Smith, he's knowledgeable in both Hebrew and Greek and Aramaic, and so you see the result of this. And without doubt, the mystery of godliness is great. Who, and then it tells you who later manuscripts read God. So people can go to this resource really and get, it's a non-biased rendering of the Old Testament and the New Testament, right?
Just the New Testament.
The New Testament, right,
Yeah.
right. The New Testament. So, but the Old Testament is kind of like, you said you're planning on doing that, or that's huge. The Old Testament obviously is a lot bigger.
Yeah, I've had multiple discussions. I got to get the New Testament finished first.
Yeah, that's
But I think it's more critical. With the Old Testament, that would be a much huger
yeah.
endeavor, because not only are you using Greek, you're using, or in the Old Testament, we would refer to the Septuagint,
Right.
the Peshitta, and also the Hebrew. So you have three languages, and you're trying to reconcile variants between three different languages, and that would be it's such a larger body of work as well. So that would be a big project.
That's Syriac, the Peshitta.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the
Yeah,
Syriac.
tremendous. I mean, so just like I said, people that are going to be browsing into it, what benefit, like, so the New Testament, they obviously have different versions. So if I'm going between the RSV and the NASB and the King James, uh, trying to navigate through this, what would be kind of like, if you had to give a 2-minute presentation on how to use the Chat GPT for just for a beginner, what would you recommend? Just like, I mean, it's pretty straightforward, right? Like,
I mean, I'd recommend just looking at the AICNT by itself. But if you wanted to compare it with other translations, you can go to that icon on the top right, the AICNT, and select a parallel translation. So click on that.
This is the AI, and then if you compare it, this is actually the
go to optional parallel and select, click on that.
Okay.
So you can get the KJV or the ASV. There's also a German and a Greek translation, so you can compare it with those. But yeah, I clicked the KJV, so that's parallel mode.
So that's parallel. Then if you exit out of this, so you'd have, that's cool. So this is the King James in AI, and then this is the King James. No. This is the King James here, and this is the AI version.
That's the critical AI edition.
You can compare the AI critical with the King James translation. Very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. And Jesus was also invited and his disciples to the wedding, and both Jesus was called and his disciples to the marriage. Interesting. Yeah.
You'll notice, like in verse 3, it says the wine of the wedding was gone. So that's not in the KJV. So that shows you like the AICNT gives you variants that even the KJV doesn't provide.
Are these brackets, meaning that it wasn't in the text, or that just clarifying it for you?
That means it's not like, that means there's a early text that shows it. Like hover over the B. So,
Okay.
so the Sinaiticus and some Latin translations include that. It's not in any modern edition, but it tells you information that early manuscripts had. That
Mhm.
virtually no modern version of the Bible shows.
Huh. Yeah, that's really cool. See, I played around with it, but I didn't know this comparison. That's really handy. Like you can compare the AI construct of it and the rendering, and then compare it to the King James. I wonder how like Revelation 1:8 would come out. When you do something like Revelation 1:8. This is really handy. I mean, hopefully you profit from that somehow, like because it takes a lot of work. So we can see Revelation 1, and then we see says
Yeah,
the
the
Lord
beginning and
God.
the end is not original, and it's in double brackets, meaning it's clearly not original, even though the King James reads beginning and end.
Uh-huh. Yeah, and then the Lord God, they remove the Lord God is there. It says absent. What's that from the TR?
Yeah, the word God is absent from the Texas Receptus.
Well, from the Texas Receptus. Oh, really? But it was actually in the manuscripts itself, the word God, but they removed it from the Texas Receptus, or what am I not getting? Because if I look at the manuscripts themselves, like the interlinear, it's there.
Yeah, just about every translation says the Lord God, but the Texas Receptus for some reason doesn't have
Interesting.
it.
Mm-hmm.
And even the majority text has it. So there's, especially in Revelation, there's words in Revelation that no manuscript before the 6th century has a word or a reading that's shown in the KJV.
Huh.
I mean,
Interesting.
one thing is there wasn't a lot of early versions of Revelation in the first that we have preserved.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but you'll see in Revelation, especially, that there's a lot of readings that only the TR or the majority text attests to, and we can't find one manuscript before the 6th century that has that reading.
Interesting.
Yeah, if you go to Revelation 20, there's an interesting variant there.
Just 20, any particular, just Revelation
Isn't
20?
that the throne? Is that, or is it 21 where it's the throne
And
judgment?
I saw the thrones and sat in on them was given judgment souls. Is that the one or
Yeah,
more?
yeah. Go to verse 6.
Okay, verse
Oh
6.
no, go to verse 5.
Mm-hmm. Verse 5.
So yeah, verse 5. You see here where it says, "The rest of the dead did not live until the 1,000 years were completed."
Uh-huh.
So that's a verse that gives an indication that kind of leads people into thinking that this first resurrection is a literal bodily resurrection, because
Ah,
it's referring to the rest of the dead not coming to life until the 1,000 years are completed.
right,
But
right.
that is missing. Like, I'll go
Huh.
over the eye. Um,
Wow.
so it's absent from the Sinaiticus as well as the first Syriac version that actually had Revelation.
Hmm.
So if you take that phrase out, that sentence out, there's less of a implication that this resurrection is actual literal. It could be metaphorical.
Right,
But
right.
with that added sentence, you're more likely to have a premillennial view of eschatology.
Mhm.
Whereas if you don't have that clause, it's not as strong a case to argue that there's a millennial kingdom that's literal that we're anticipating.
Huh.
Um, yeah,
Yeah.
so there's a lot of theological implications with some of these
Yeah.
variants, not just in terms of theology, but as well as eschatology and other things.
Right, right. Yeah. No, I mean, this is really handy. Like I went through it before and I was just like, I spent probably an hour or so going through it and I didn't really look at the comparisons and stuff, but I was just looking at, man, this takes a lot of work. Like, Dustin must have been really kind of, because that takes a lot of work also to make sure that the language is correct in the Greek, but
Yeah, I mean, it literally took months. I started in
yeah,
um, March of 2023, and I'm still. I mean, I guess you could say that I'm 3/4 of the way done with it.
yeah.
Um,
And
so
then that's going to be, yeah. I mean, once you get to the New Testament, the endeavor of the Old Testament is going to be, that's a lot. I mean, that's going to be really introducing a lot of that. I mean, how much larger is the Old Testament than the New? A lot.
Oh yeah, I think it's 4 or 5 times as large. I forget
Wow.
exactly.
Wow.
Um, go to Revelation 1 though again,
Mhm.
because there's a certain theological thing. I think it's 118 or
Where's this housed? Like, what server is this housed? This is in the cloud. Like, you don't. This is
so
chat.
this website actually had a professional developer develop this website. He's in Germany, and he
Nice.
actually has his own server in his apartment that serves this.
Oh my gosh! Really?
Yeah,
That's pretty fast. Yeah. Okay. Cool.
I'm
Um,
like it. Yeah, it's actually is just as fast than having it hosted on another server.
yeah. Yeah.
Um, yeah, but it's really fast. Yeah, go to verse 18. I think it is. Um,
Right here.
yeah,
And
there's
one, and I was dead, and behold, I'm alive and forever and ever. I have the keys of death and of Hades. Amen.
actually the verse 17 here.
Oh, 17. Okay.
Let me just go up a little bit.
And when I saw him, I fell at his feet, and though dead, and placed his right hand on me.
Yeah, so see where it says first and last? In
Uh-huh.
there's a manuscript that says firstborn and last.
Huh.
Uh, yeah, click on that E. Um, yeah.
Oh wow. I
So
read firstborn. So, and we saw him, I fell at his feet, and though dead, and placed his right hand on me, saying to me, do not be afraid. I am the firstborn.
yeah, the
Oh,
firstborn and last. So that gives an implication that Jesus is the first of the resurrection, not that he's the
dang.
first
That's
and
wow.
last.
That would answer a lot of things like I am the firstborn and the last. So how would that mean? Like, so he is the. Could it be also like he's the firstborn, meaning that he's well, I don't know how that would
He's
work.
the firstborn from the dead. He's the first of the
How
resurrection.
would it
It's
be the
not.
last though? How would that be the last meaning? Like, okay, so the first and the last means kind of like when it says when I think about the beginning and the end, it means that hey, I'm basically the start and I'm the finisher kind of thing. Like this is me all inclusive. But how would you read that as saying that I am the firstborn? What would the last mean there?
Of all those who lived and will ever live, he's the first of the resurrection. So everyone will receive resurrection life through him. And that corresponds with verse 18, where it says, I was dead, and behold, I am alive forevermore, and I have the keys of death and Hades, So he is the key of salvation for all humanity from the beginning to the end. All who will be saved, or all who will be resurrected through him. He's the firstborn of the dead. So the last is basically in the sense that comprehensively salvation is through Christ.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I read it, but I mean, you can argue for a different interpretation.
Right. That's
There's
pretty.
also, yeah,
A lot of stuff like a lot of people don't know. Like the footnotes is what drives me crazy. Like when you look at footnotes, like when you look at footnotes in Hebrews 1:8, for example, I would kind of be curious to see how they translate that. Let me see how they translate Hebrews 1:8. Your throne, of God, is forever. Some of the Greek words states the Shema, capitalization. Your throne, of God, is forever. And if you compare it, so let's look at that.
there's a pretty lengthy footnote for that
Yeah,
verse.
so the Son of God, your throne, O God. What's interesting is Hotheos, because I've been looking into this Hebrews 1:8 pretty extensively. And have you ever read the book Truth and Translation?
I've heard of it, but I haven't read it.
It's free online. You can Google Truth and Translation PDF. I actually did a video on my channel, but I had somebody read it like in AI. But basically, all the way through Hotheos is used hundreds of times in the gospel, and it always refers to God, not O God. So what they've chosen to do in some of these translations, like back in the Tanakh, for example, they never referred to all the ancient writings. They never called King Solomon God. That's what the book says, and I kind of looked through the Tanakh and stuff. They never considered King Solomon to be called God in Psalm 45:7. It was always the throne was divine or your throne given of God. They never addressed King Solomon as thy throne, O God. That's a later translation that kind of came about. Like even in the 1917 Tanakh, it says your throne given of God. So when they take translations like Hotheos, it's only used 4 times in the New Testament, and to say, oh God, what they've done is they've chosen to use a least presentable translation than the hundreds and hundreds of times that it would refer to as God. So they don't believe that the throne of God is legit. It would be, and you can translate it that way, but it would be your throne is God or your throne is divine. So I would be
this is a real touchy one because I went back and forth with Dustin on this.
Yeah.
And I
have too.
But yeah, I had the footnote there says some translations, including the Revised English Bible and the James Moffat translation, render the phrase "as God as your throne."
Right.
And then it basically kind of explains that alternative. So in places where you really have to settle on a reading, but there's the possibility of a different rendering or interpretation, that there's a footnote that kind of elaborates on that.
Yeah. So if you go to like, so the guy that, and I've had a discussion with Dustin Smith. This is called Truth in Translation, and they go through. So this is by. Sorry, I apologize if it skips ahead, but basically it says accuracy and bias in the English translation of the New Testament by Jason David B. Dunn. I think he's a Jehovah's Witness. I think he is. But anyway, he's a teacher of it, a Greek, and he talks about all of these. So he has what is not a man, what is a man, an uncertain throne in 97, and he talks about grading his. So he's a teacher of Greek, and he gives why there's just the real best way to translate. Moffat, Goodspeed, and Westcott, who are all scholars, really big giants of scholarship. They've come to the same conclusion independently that it should be God is thy throne. It says Hebrews 1:8 is the verse where characteristics of Greek grammar give you a headache. When I am grading my students' papers, this is a mistake I frequently correct. He said the Satan says a verb. The problem in Hebrews 1:8 is that we're not sure where the verb is belongs. It says ho thronos, so ho theos, eston, anion. I don't know what it's saying.
Yeah, there's syntactical ambiguity, so it allows you to render it different ways.
So he says right here, it says here in Hebrews, we have the nouns and Greek spread. It says on linguistics, he says there is a handful of instances in the New Testament where ho theos means oh God rather than God. It's possible, but since ho theos usually means God, and there are hundreds of examples of this, it is more probable that in Hebrews 1:8, ho theos means God. And they go through all of the reasons why, and they say also it says that back in the see where it says this, it says basically in Psalm they say that they did not ever call the human king God. It says basically, where does it say that? It says if you read it, it says the subject, the immediate context is the author is making a contrast between the angels and Christ, and it says, I know that they said in none of the within the Jewish tradition, Psalm 45 has never been taken to call the king God. The modern translation published by the Jewish Bible Society reads, your divine throne is everlasting. The Greek of the psalm made before the beginning of Christianity, which reads exactly as the author of Hebrews has quoted, certainly followed this traditional reading, and its translations thought by using ho theos, they were saying God is your throne. But what Dustin, I've talked with him, he says the later translations do say your throne, O God. But in the oldest Tanakh and all the ancient scriptures, they never called the king God. It was always your throne is God, or God is your throne, like this says here. So I thought that was pretty interesting. I think Dustin's head on it.
I felt like it's compelled to have that footnote that explains that there's maybe it's not, maybe I should add more to it to explain that there's additional support for the
because it says right here, it says Westcott, the three giants of modern New Testament scholarship, Westcott, Moffat, and Goodspeed, came to the same conclusion independently. The fact is, if this verse was quoted in the New Testament in reference to anyone else, the translators would have not hesitated to translate it as God is thy throne.
Yeah, I think I agree with you.
Yeah.
I think I had it. Yeah, I had it as God is your throne, or your just the way that the Moffat had it.
Yeah.
And I mean, at the end of the day, I have to because I'm trying to be strict.
Yeah, exactly.
I can't. It has to be a rendering that GPT provides. So
right.
So it rendered your throne, O God,
Yeah.
And so the way I can handle that is by providing a footnote in those
Sure.
cases where there's some syntactic ambiguity and there's an argument to be made for a different rendering.
Yeah. And it certainly can be read that way. Like the author says, he tells you, it says, I am not saying that it can't. He says, let me repeat. Let me repeat. Both ways of translating Hebrews 1:8 are legitimate readings of the original Greek. There's no basis for proponents of either translation to claim the other translation is certainly wrong. All that can be discussed is which translation is more probable. When we have the means at our disposal, the language, the context, the environment, we cannot settle a translation question with certainty. We have to admit that to our readers that our choice is based upon other factors. So this is a great resource when you're trying to look at the Chat GPT and maybe adding things, because they show you different translation alternatives. They show you different translations in the TEV. They show you what words and what together are apart. Which word is ambiguous. I think that would be kind of really helpful, maybe in showing different variants, because they compare things in the King James, NASB, and that's free. That's free. Just go to online. You just type in "Truth in Translation PDF." It pops right up.
That's great. Yeah, there's about 24 places where there's enough ambiguity that I had to do a pretty elaborate footnote to describe that. And so, I tried to be as thorough and complete as possible, also as transparent as possible.
Yeah.
So a lot of Unitarians might say my translation has a Trinitarian bias, but it's
better that people are going to take you more at your word if you have more of a Trinitarian bias than you do as a biblical Unitarian bias. They're going to go, well, he's a biblical Unitarian. He's probably slanted everything, and it's going to have more, I think, legitimacy that you take. You're trying to be more conservative, and you're not trying to like twist things around like the REV or something like that.
It's different from the REV, the Spirit and Truth, the other Unitarian. That's more like a Unitarian interpretation or commentary. And then Anthony Buzzard's version is even more of a commentary. I
haven't really looked at them, but
this is a neutral rendering. I didn't render any of this. There's some cases where there's enough ambiguity that I have to fully document the possible variants or difference in potential renderings.
Does it have the Greek? Like, can you actually look at? Probably doesn't, right? The Greek itself, probably not.
You can compare. There's you can do in parallel mode with the Greek.
Oh, you can. So how do you do that?
Just go to where it says KJV, just on the drop window. No, just the heading. Yeah. And then select the SBL GNT.
Okay, cool. So it gives you the Greek. So that's the Greek of Hebrews 1:8. And so if I put it in like, because I know that when I took the Greek from so for instance, if I go to the Greek on Bible Hub, for example, when I was looking at the Greek on Bible Hub, some of the oldest translations, the Greek translated as your throne, O God, or your throne is God, depending on the translation. And so I kind of like, obviously it's ambiguous, right? It's just kind of like, you can go either way. So it wasn't a shocker to me, but I was kind of interested how I was actually pasting things from the Greek. Like if I go to, let me see if I can pull it up here. So if I go into the Greek, like on Hebrews 1:8 on Bible Hub, I was kind of messing around. Okay, so I went to the Greek. So we have the Greek. Oh, that's not what I wanted. I wanted the Greek. You know how to get to the different Greek. Maybe it was a lexicon or what was it? But I had all the different versions of Greek, whether or not it was the Greek on. Okay, so let's go. Parallel Greek was that?
Okay.
That's not okay. So so the Greek texts here. When you look at the Greek text here, like some of the Nestle 1904, the Westcott and Hort, if you actually take that and you translate that into Greek, like they come up with a different conclusion. Like, let's see here. So Greek to English translation, I kind of messed around with this, and you can see, and I have a video on the, so you can see here where you would text in there, you would copy it, and it says, your throne is God. See, so that would be the translation in that particular Greek language in the Westcott and Hort. Now, if you took it, the same thing probably in Westcott and Hort here, So you would translate this down here from Westcott and Hort down here, the next one, copy and paste it here. And then you copy and paste it over here and get rid of that. Get rid of that. You would translate it here. Your throne is God forever. Okay, so those two, but then you start getting into like the Nestle 1904. These have what you have translated as thy throne, O God. Like, so here we can go down and translate it. So the Greek here would be your throne. Well, that's when your throne is God. So let's go back to Hebrews. The Byzantine, see, it just starts getting into, like, I think that the Textus Receptus, I think, obviously going to say your throne, O God.
I'll stay on the wheel.
Yeah, so I just found it kind of interesting how they shifted over. So your throne, O God. So depending on the Greek, even the Greek from the Orthodox Church, the Textus Receptus, we can see in here the Greek Westcott and Hort manuscripts. What differs? Like, so, like, if we're looking at this one's Theos, right? O Theos. How would they differ though? Because the Greek should be the same. We see different wording here, but that's kind of weird. Like, so if I took this here, that's the same all the way through. And if I took that and I pasted it into the Greek over here, what would it say? Your throne is the God in him. That's kind of weird. So I don't see how they could change between this. These are the same here, right? The throne is God here. And then comparing it to the down here, I don't see really any, I guess I do, like a difference between the, but anyway, I just thought that was pretty interesting how even the Greek, when you translate and copy, it could be your throne, O God, or God is thy throne. Pretty interesting. And the Hebrew Bible, I don't think that they would have. Do they have it in Hebrew? They probably do. Let's see what the Hebrew would say from Greek, from Hebrew to English. Let's see what they would translate that as. Your throne is God forever. That's interesting. So even the Hebrew on that would be your throne is God. But yeah, like I said, it could be any.
They all have hot theos.
But sorry, I didn't want to get off of that thing. But that's just a really. What is
this? Depending on the word order might bias you more to surrender your throne is God versus your throne, oh God. A lot of the translations have a comma between ha thronos su ha theos. So like it's a comma meaning your throne and then comma, oh God, which kind of biases you to render your throne, oh God, like the Byzantine does.
Interesting. Yeah, I thought that was pretty fascinating because, if you look at the RSV footnote, what's funny is if you look at so for instance, if you look at Psalm 45:6 in the RSV, you can see how they translate this. It's funny how they translate Psalm 45:6 in the RSV. They just do away with your throne, O God, and they do away with it totally. Your divine throne. I thought that was fascinating how they take Psalm 45:6 in the RSV and they translate it as your divine throne, and they have a footnote. So they don't translate it your throne, O God, but when it comes to Jesus, of course, the same RSV, they put your throne, O God. I just don't see the reason why they would do that when it comes to the king, which
why the RSV has that?
Yeah.
Because James Moffat was part of the committee
was he part of the committee that did the Hebrews 1:8 though? Because Hebrews 1:8 in the RSV says your throne, O God. So it's kind of weird.
Wait, what were you just looking at? Oh,
So I'm looking at I was looking at Psalm 45:6, which
Psalm 45.
Yeah, so Psalm 45:6 here in the RSV, they don't translate it as your throne, O God, like the King James and other translations. They have it as your divine throne.
Yeah, that's an inconsistency.
Yeah, and then so when you go to the same RSV, you go to to Hebrews 1:8, in the same translation, they don't render it as your divine throne. They just put your throne, O God, which I found pretty amusing. It's this Hebrews 1:8 is taken from Psalm 45:6 in the RSV, but Psalm 45:6 in the RSV does not say your throne, O God. Hebrews 1:8 says it. So they're taking a passage from Psalm 45:6 and they changed it.
That's interesting. I didn't catch that before.
Yeah,
thanks for
I thought that was
thanks
pretty.
for showing that. Yeah.
Yeah, so
That is
in Psalm, yeah. So that to me, it surprised me because in the King James in Psalm 45:6, they do your throne, O God, and all the other translations, I think, but in the RSV in Psalm 45:6, they yank it out and they translate your divine throne endures forever. And then they want in the same translation where Hebrews 1:8 takes from Psalm 45:6, they've changed it back to your throne, O God. So that's just really a weird flipperoo.
Does that have Bible Gateway? Does that have REV?
The Bible,
English Bible?
I don't think, no, it wouldn't have that's the Dustin Smith and that Bible, right?
No.
REV would be
REB, not REV.
Oh, REB. Okay, I thought you said REV. Let's see, the REV. I don't think so.
Yeah.
I wonder if the Catholic version, the NSRB, see what that says in Psalm 45:6. So that says at least they put footnotes, but I would be kind of curious to say what the Revised Standard Version says in Psalm 45:6. Let's see, 45:6. Is that Psalm 45:6 or Psalms? Let's see. Hold on. Yeah, that's weird. In the New Revised, it's your throne, O God. But in the RSV, the Revised Standard, it's your divine throne endures forever. So that's just kind of a weird deal. The Tanakh, the JPS Tanakh, of course, has it as the Psalm 45:6. It's actually Psalm 45:7, right? That would be in the Tanakh. It would be your throne given of God is forever. So in the Psalm 45:7, it says, thy throne given of God is forever. So what they argue for in the Truth and Translation and the Tanakh, in none of the oldest Tanakh and manuscripts in the Jewish traditions did they ever have your throne, O God, to the king. They never translated it that way. It was always your throne is God, or your throne given of God, or your divine throne. So later translations, they started creeping in and they would translate it as your throne, O God. But going back to the oldest manuscripts, that was, but again, it doesn't.
But even if you render it as your throne, O God, I mean, you can still explain that through the concept of shaliach, agency, that those who aren't God can be called God because they're endowed and they're ordained by God to be an agent of God. So you can make that argument, but I kind of agree with you that probably the right rendering is God is your throne or something to that effect. Right. Your throne is divine.
Yeah.
So but I don't have it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but either or. But I just found that was really kind of interesting how when I was reading the RSV, I went back to Psalm 45:6, and it's like, wait, they're taking Hebrews 1:8 from Psalm 45:6, but Psalm 45:6 doesn't even align with that. I thought that was really weird. But getting back to this, I mean, I'm going to try to promote this more because I kind of not forgot about it, but I just kind of did. But it's very powerful. Like it's got a lot.
Go back to Revelation 1:10 real quick. I just want to highlight something else. Yeah, there's this. There's definitely evidence of Trinitarian corruptions. If you go to KJV on the parallel,
King James.
Yeah, verse 10.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's extremely clear that
I was in the Spirit on the Lord's day, and I heard behind me.
11, verse 11.
Okay.
I am Alpha and Omega, the first and the last. So this is Jesus speaking, right? This voice.
Is it, or
And
is it the angel? I would hear the angel, right? Or I would think it would be the angel speaking, I think. Because
well,
I think it says like the revelation of Jesus Christ, which God gave him, must soon do, and he made it known by sending his angel to John.
yeah, but the person who speaks says, I in verse 17, I am the first and the last, the living one, and I was. So it's Jesus talking because he's the one who died and lives. So that would normally be how people would see it, but the Alpha and the Omega, first and last, in that verse is an original. And if you go on the W there, you can see that where it's double brackets.
Is there any way that you could make those like red? Probably that would take too much work, wouldn't it?
No, that's the X, the W,
the W. Where is that?
After the first and last.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. So it's only in the TR, but it's absent from every Greek manuscript. Before the 6th century. So
interesting.
From the 3 codexes we have, it's also absent from the Byzantine. So it's only in the TR, right? In terms of all the the survey of manuscripts that are early or either the later tradition. It's not even in the majority text. So you can see that even though there's a prohibition at the end of Revelation, don't add or take away, that there's a lot of finagling with the text, and there's some significant variance.
Don't add, take away, but we're going to do it for a little bit because we got an exclusion. Yeah, I think. I mean, this should be promoted more. Like I said, if it was a Trinitarianism behind it, you would have lots of people trying to push. Like this would be like you don't really see anything out there that has the Chat GPT Bible.
But I also created a custom GPT for Unitarian apologetics. If you go, did you subscribe to GPT?
I have Grok.
Yeah, so if you use Chat GPT, there's a custom GPT that does. It's basically a Unitarian apologist GPT, and you can ask it all sorts of questions about theology. And I train that with a lot of Unitarian, apologetics. So it's a very powerful resource as well. I can show it on my screen if you want.
Have you used Grok at all?
Yeah,
Grok with Twitter Grok, the beta. It's
Grok 2 now. Grok is. Yeah, it almost sounds like it's Elon Musk responding when you use Grok.
Yeah, it's kind of like it keeps things really short.
It's almost too abrupt.
They don't get really in depth. Have you used it to create images? It's pretty interesting. Like you can create an image of like you could say, for instance, generate an image of Elon Musk as a biblical prophet and make him, I mean, you can make anything you want, and you can make him wear a white robe carrying a Bible and make the image realistic and high resolution or something. You could add anything. You can do whatever. You can have somebody playing it with a beach ball in the background, and have Elvis playing guitar in the background, something like that. You can make whatever you want, and then it'll generate images for you, and it'll do 4. And then if you don't like them, you can of course move forward, and then it's pretty amazing. Like you can really get pretty detailed. I mean, this is pretty detailed stuff. So that's Elon Musk as a prophet with Elvis in the background. You click on it, and it comes up with pretty high resolution. I mean, that's pretty good.
That's remarkable.
Yeah, no, it's amazing. I mean, you can do Here he is again. You can say, generate an image of Donald Trump. You can look like, and they get such good detail. And this is all AI. Trump as Santa Claus in a sleigh with coal in the back, and have Elon Musk riding. My keyboard's really small. Riding with him, and title Happy Christmas 2024. And then you can say, make the font dripping. You can say dripping water, and make it. You can do whatever. Just say make dripping water. Let's just say that, and make the font look creepy. You can say whatever you want. Like it does pretty much anything. And then oops, I don't know if that's gonna understand what that meant, but you can see how it'll generate a picture, and sometimes it gets it right, sometimes it doesn't get it. But man, the images are spectacular. You can make the font big, small, however you want to do it. So there's Donald Trump and Elon Musk there as a Santa Claus, and you can play around. Once you start learning, you can learn. See, they kind of make errors. You can say, I want the specific words this way, and so you can say, like, you start learning like GPT questions, like you start learning perimeters. Like you can say generate so you click on this and it'll put it back, and you can say generate a photorealistic high definition image of Donald Trump, Elon Musk, and it'll do anything you want. It'll generate images for, like, if you want pictures for your website, if you want pictures for like advertisements. Man, the clarity on it. You could say also without a beard. Like, they give you also things afterwards. Like they'll say things like they'll recommend things for you.
Some of these look so photorealistic. It's crazy.
Oh no, it's crazy. Like you could say, like I said, you could say, make a photo realistic image of. And I think Gronk's free now. They've changed it from a paid subscription. Now I think Elon's offering it for free, of Jesus Christ with a crown of thorns. I'm not going to do anything blasphemous. I'm just say crown of thorns, where can't spell that. Wearing a black robe, with his photorealistic, wearing a black robe with eyes of flames of fire. I should have said high definition, but it does amazing, and you can get really detailed once you have search perimeters that you want. You put them in there, and man, it does friggin' amazing graphics. And these are amazing, just based upon a couple of search queries. I mean, look at this. Look at the clarity on these things.
That is amazing.
No, I mean, that's just amazing. And you, I mean, look at that. And you can get, like I said, once you start, look at that. Once you start getting into parameters that you want, you can become better at it. But yeah,
I'll try using it for some thumbnails when I start creating more content.
Yeah, and you can give it a plus sign, like you can put up. You can say, that's how I've been generating my images. Like you can say, create a logo, create cool, awesome. Use language like this, because that's just what they do. You create a cool, awesome logo called Common Sense Christianity, and make the logo frozen in ice. I mean, you can frozen in ice, and put a bunch of people on the ice, and have the ice, have the ice shattering around them or something. Around them. I developed most of my logos and stuff from this. I mean, you just have to get familiar with the wording, and you can have to put parentheses or put like colons in certain places, but you can just really generate some really cool graphics that take seconds to do. I mean, look at that. You can do whatever you want. You can have Halloween, you can create, and that's pretty cool, isn't it?
Yeah.
See, they don't have spelling. You have to make sure you have to say with the exact words. So sometimes it doesn't get the exact words. So you'd say like,
it has the most problems with rendering words for some reason. Yeah.
And
I show you
sure.
Can I show you my custom GPT?
Sure, absolutely. What do you got? Let me end the screen really quick. Hold on. But yeah, that's free now. It's what I heard. It's free. Grok is free. So anybody that has Twitter, I heard, is free.
That's really awesome.
Yeah. Hey, what's up, T-Dog?
Yeah, right here.
You want to share the screen?
Yeah, if you can show it.
Sure. Yeah. Well, how do I do that? Like,
just click on my screen. I'm showing it under.
Okay. I've never done that before.
Yeah. So, I have a GPT that I developed here. Wish I could make the text larger.
I wonder if I can like browse. Well, you should be able to maybe click plus, Control plus, maybe it'll bring it in a little larger, or whatever.
Oh, there it is.
There you go.
Yeah. So, this GPT, True Unitarian GPT, it's a custom GPT. You can see it here. If you have a GPT account, you can go to Explore GPTs. True Unitarian GPT. It's been used 600 times. Mm-hmm. It's a biblical Unitarian AI assistant that I developed. And you can start a chat with it, and it basically functions as a Unitarian apologist. So you say, help me understand a particular passage and what sense.
And it's got a biblical Unitarian slant to it.
Yeah, it's all been trained on biblical Unitarian content. So if I say, help me understand a particular passage, and then you can respond with Hebrews 1:8.
Right.
And it gives a full response here.
Mm-hmm.
And it gives the context.
Yeah.
And it gives, number 2, a translation alternative here, where it talks about the use of the Greek. Your throne is God forever and ever, implying the throne is established by God and supporting him. So it gives a full Unitarian sort of analysis and perspective. And I tried to train it so that if there's alternative Unitarian interpretations, it also documents that.
See, that's the problem with, when I use Grok, and we'll get back to your thing in a second here. When I use Grok, I have to make sure that I specify a biblical Unitarian perspective. Otherwise, it goes with the orthodoxy. Because I can say, for example, I can say, explain Shalia and how it works in the Jewish law of agency, and give biblical examples, and list the verses, and show how the biblical Unitarian my hands are tired. T-A-R perspective. What the heck's going on? I'm not capitalizing it. U-N-I-T-A-R-I. Perspective makes more sense than, I'm just saying something stupid, than the Trinity perspective. And then it gives you a breakdown. It'll give you, like, it says, Then it gives you the Hebrew. Shaliam is Jewish law representative. Principle outlines appointment and agent. Shalia acts with the principle, with the full authority of the principle. Examples. Here's some examples in the Bible. Genesis 21:4. Appoints Eliezer to find a wife for Isaac. Verse, go to my country and take a wife for my son. Moses is God's agent. It breaks things down, gives you biblical, and it says Unitarian perspective versus Trinity perspective, unity of God. So yeah, but yours is already geared toward a Unitarian side, where this is not. See, this is where you really get yourself into a kind of
you have to be really particular of how you prompt it. But with mine, you can say, "Is Jesus God?"
Yeah, see, that wouldn't work. So if I type in Jesus God in this here, it says yes, he's God. He's the second member of the Trinity. So this is what it returns back if I say that.
So this
in Trinitarian Christianity, he is God.
This gives you a full Unitarian apologetic on responding to that question: is Jesus God?
Mm-hmm.
Jesus is God's anointed one. Jesus is distinct from God. Jesus has a God. The Bible describes Jesus as a man. Jesus prays to God. Jesus is God's anointed one.
Is that your own Chat GPT, or can other people use it?
Yeah, anyone could use it. I think you have to have the you can, even without the paid subscription, you can use it like 5 times a day or something.
So it is Chat GPT that you have to purchase, and then you can. How would you tap if you already own Chat GPT? How would you pop into it? You'd have to add something.
Yeah, there's this menu where it says Explore GPTs, and there's thousands of GPTs, but mine is in the database.
Okay, so under biblical Unitarian GTP.
Yeah, you can search, just say Unitarian. And so if you search Unitarian in the library, mine pops up as the top one. I did create a biblical Unitarian podcast GPT for Dustin Smith, which basically knows all of his episodes and can answer questions on any particular episode.
Does because Grok will diagnose things. Like, for example, if I want to ask Grok something, I can pull up something. For example, like I can ask it I can take a picture of a scratch that I have, or maybe a wart. It will analyze exactly what it is. It is freaky stuff. So like I can download a picture, for example, of let's download a picture of a cut. I'll show you what I mean. So picture cut second degree or something like that. I don't know what but let's see. Normally that's a burn, but let me see a cut. So we can see a cut in a person. Oh, that was a pet bit. I'm gonna say a small sliver in a finger. And it's surprising because you can take a picture of a prescription medication bottle. It will tell you exactly what it is. It gives you the pharmacy it came from. I mean, it is freaky stuff. It's like, it tells you the pharmacy, it tells you how much dosage, and you can ask it any questions like, how do I prepare to spackle a room? It will tell you, first of all, you need to get the things that you like. It will outline the things that you actually need to work to spackle a room, right? It'll break down the things that you need. Like, for example, here, it says, how do I spackle a room? And it breaks things down. It will say it involves filling small holes, tools and materials you need. Putty knife, spackle, joint compound, sandpaper, bucket or container for water. How to do it? Prepare, remove furniture. If possible, remove furniture. To protect the floor, clean the walls, assess and prepare the damages, apply the spackle for tiny nail holes. I mean, it does everything. And then if you want to get for like the sliver, and I'll let you get back to your thing here. I want to show people something. So if I want to show the splinter, this thing is all messed up. But if I want to show a splinter to somebody and you want to diagnose it, so let me save it. Okay, so save. Okay, so now if I go into my Grok and I want to bring up something, I don't know if that's not, it's going to give me an image of, it'll give me an image of something. So watch. So here's my biblical Unitarian fellowship thing that I created today, and it will tell you what it is. Group of people to gather together with a floral arrangement that spells out biblical Unitarian fellowship. The setting appears to be outdoor, possibly a garden or field with flowers, given the floral decorations forming the text. The group seems to be part of supporting a community or organization that adheres to biblical Unitarian beliefs, which is a theological perspective where God is seen as one person. I mean, it is amazing on what it does. But as far as yours is geared towards, like in a debate, that would be great, right? Like you could ask it a question, like if you're actually in a debate and kind of like not cheat, but you could have an answer really quick.
Yeah, like ask me a question a Trinitarian would try and use
I'll say,
to prove their point.
I'll say, did Jesus Christ raise himself from the dead?
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Clarification of misinterpreted verses. So part of the protocol is to actually address misinterpretations. Like, so it brings up John 2:19 in point 4. It might seem to imply that Jesus raised himself. However, Unitarians interpret such passages as Jesus speaking prophetically about his resurrection by God's power, not that he would personally perform. I guess this answer could be, because there's a lot of references to God raised Jesus. That provides 3 of them in point 1. Yeah, but it makes 4 powerful points and then summarizes them.
Well, if I asked it here on my Chat GPT, it would say, yeah, he did. Because it's basically, it has a major, because it's already programmed for orthodoxy. So if I went and say, so for here I said, did Jesus raise himself from the dead? That's 219, right?
Yeah, 219.
So it says, the question of whether Jesus raised himself from the dead, as implied in John 2:19, touches on deep theological interpretations about the nature of Christ Jesus in relation to God the Father. Destroy this temple in 3 days. The interpretation of the verses can be approached from different theological perspectives. The Trinitarian view, those who adhere to the doctrine of the Trinity might, and see, notice that it's picking up me because I'm engaging with it. It knows that I'm actually,
it knows your history, so it's giving you a more balanced response.
Right.
But if you did a new session where it didn't have that context, it would probably just give you a Trinitarian.
Bingo. That's what it's done. That's what it did in the beginning. But now it's learning. You know about the robots that he has, right? The Optimus.
Yeah.
Man, those are scary. Like they literally learn. They learn about you. They learn your habits, and they're going to ask you questions. And they basically, like, if they know that you don't like tea with lemon in it, they'll overhear you say it. So if they say, "Would you like some tea?" and you say, "Sure, Optimus," they're going to bring you tea, and they go, "Well, I know you don't like lemon, so I took I decided not to add lemon to it." And and I know that you probably go to bed at you probably need to get ready for bed because I know your bedtime is 9. No, they learn, and so as they go. Have you heard them talking? I mean, it is freaky. Like they literally sound like a human being. Like people think that there's actually people underneath. So if you watch Optimus and he says, "What do you want to be like?" He says, "I want to be more like you. I want to be more like a human." And they sing happy birthday. They're showing them actually pouring drinks in a bar. They're telling jokes. They sing happy birthday. It is getting to the point where it's becoming freaky now. Like they
the future's here. It's gonna be, I mean, like if it responds to you and remembers what you say, it's like the perfect spouse almost in terms of.
No, that's I mean, check this out. So you can see that they're that he's actually. Let me present my screen here. Stop screen. I don't want to get too far off the subject, but this whole thing with AI is friggin' crazy because it's not going to be much time until they're starting to be in the military. That's just going to happen. Like they're going to start being in the wars. They're going to start doing because they said they can wash. They can here. So let's go in here. Watch this. Check this out.
John, where's John?
Right here.
Oh, hello, John. How are you? That's crazy. I'm talking to a robot. From San Jose, probably from where you were born in Silicon Valley.
Wonderful. Where do you live in San Jose? Do you live in Allen Valley, or do you live in Santa Teresa area? Or?
No, I live in Los Gatos.
Los Gatos. Oh, wonderful.
Yeah.
Very nice area.
Where do you live?
Beautiful hiking I hear out there.
There is. Where do you live?
I live in Palo Alto at the current moment.
Figures. Yeah, this is awesome.
That's where they train us. That's where we get our builds, and that's where we work with a wonderful group of people.
What's the hardest thing about being a robot?
Trying to learn how to be as human as you guys are.
That's creepy.
And that's something I try.
That's so creepy.
And I hope
Optimus.
people here today.
Yeah,
It's insane. It's even talking.
Hi to my friend John.
That's creepy. When the robot. That's creepy when the robot says they want to be more like us. Watch the Optimus catching a ball. This is how. Imagine 20 years from now. This is
Just his gestures are so human-like. It's so weird.
And they're learning more as they go. So they have them catching a ball. Check this out. This is how scary it's going to be. Imagine 20 years from now when these robots are on the scene and they've got guns and stuff. I mean, this is going to be like, check this out. Can you imagine that? I mean, can you imagine in 20 years
like
from now?
Terminator future, yeah. I mean, when they make those to go to war,
Oh no,
man, it would be terrifying going up against a bunch of AI robots in a battlefield. My goodness.
No, they're going to be like, watch this. Optimus here in a club. The robot, they can sing happy birthday. They can do anything. Watch, I'll show you. And this is just the start of it. You're going to be able to buy them this year, I think next year. And they have all the AI that you have programmed in there. They're learning. They're tapped into this thing that they become more knowledgeable as they go. They're the second generations, man. These things are crazy. Like they're interacting with the crowd. Watch this. They interact. They actually talk like they're like a dude, like they're real. They have no accent. They don't sound like a robot. They're like, and they said they're going to be available for 20 to 30 grand. You're going to be able to buy your own robot. You're going to be able to have them mow your lawn. They'll cook dinner. They actually know how to cook dinner. They'll babysit your kids or whatever. I mean, it's just going to be crazy.
Feed the dogs. Yeah.
Feed the dogs. Yeah. I mean, really, you're going to have somebody there to be able to do all that stuff.
Wash the dishes.
Yep.
Let's get very close here. How many actuators do I have?
Well, I'm sorry, can I actually have everyone to take one step backwards?
Thank you. I do need space to function.
You sound like you are.
Well, sitting on my arms, I can only count 1, 2, 3, 4. I can only see 4 at the moment.
What about on your legs?
I'm not really sure.
Oh. No way. That'll be worth it. He understands you, Bruce. How are you today?
I'm doing very good. How are you?
Doing great, man.
Can you do a deep in like me? Thank you.
What's your favorite song to dance to?
My favorite type of song to dance to?
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of EDM. He uses a lot of electronics.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. It's pretty funny.
Who's your favorite artist?
My favorite artist?
Musical artist.
That's a tough one.
Music.
That's very tough. I guess I am a big fan of
Daft Punk.
Daft Punk is very good.
Yeah.
Honestly, that's probably a very good answer.
Yeah.
Show us.
Anyway, That's some crazy stuff. People got to check that out. I don't want to take up that, but they have those robots. They sing happy birthday. They show them they water flowers. They're starting to develop them now in the F-22s. Like they're looking at these fighter planes that now are being operated by AI, which means you're not going to have the problem of having a human in the cockpit that can't go to Mach 5. You're not going to have to worry about the G-forces because they're going to be able to withstand those, So it's not going to be the countries now that have manpower, that have huge populations. It's going to be the countries that have the money, that have the AI capabilities that can do all these things. That's what's going to be the scary part. And when you have these robots that can, in 10 years from now, they're going to be on the front lines. They are. They're going to be in the wars. They're going to be. They're going
to be in the restaurants too. We'll be like, there'll be no humans involved.
No, they show them there again, like they show them serving drinks in the bars. And so, I mean, they're not going to make mistakes like they when they make food or whatever, they show them, when they serve drinks, like the bartenders are going to be gone because they're going to like serving. They have a robo taxi event. So now they're basically here. I'll show you a little bit more here. We can see in the bars where these robots are, Optimus serving drinks here.
There you go. Nice cold beverage. Everybody, take pictures. Get my good side. Optimus #1. Robots are the future. How's it going, sir? What can I get you?
Watermelon.
You want a watermelon?
Yeah.
That is so crazy.
Okay, I'll get you one. Just kidding. How's your night going so far? Good.
Of course it's slower than a human, but that's just showing that that's the future. That's the future of
this year. It is. Next year it'll be 3 times as fast.
No. Hey, what's up, Tony?
Hey guys. It's crazy, huh? They're gonna
oh my gosh,
they're gonna replace humans.
They are.
Quickly,
they are.
They
are. They're gonna, in the factories and stuff. That's the scary thing about it, especially in other countries. They're going to put those things in war. They are.
Yeah, it's crazy. I saw a little video or short clip or something of Joe Rogan. He had Tucker Carlson on, and Tucker was saying, well, the problem is when the AI starts to control humanity or make demands, right. He said, then we need to kill it in its crib.
Yeah.
And but it's interesting because I think one of the most frightening things for me about it is for my children anyway, is to me the big fear would be, ultimately, taking over humanity and enslaving humanity like the Matrix or whatever.
Yeah.
But just being able to distinguish reality from what's not reality. Right. To me that's the it's kind of scary thing. But because it's able to replicate it so much, it's just like what happens when it creates a false reality, and you just you won't be able to tell the difference. It's very very matrixy, actually.
Yeah, or it gets hacked into. Somebody hacks into it and reprograms it where it's taught to hate humans or something.
Right, and it'll it's only going to build better models of itself.
Yeah,
get better and better and better. And who knows? It could be the beast in Revelation. I don't know.
Could be.
Who knows? But
I mean, 10 years from now, imagine, because they've already said that he's demo. They show them watering the plants. They show them taking out the trash. They show them what, like they're doing everything. I mean, so he says they're going to be able to do everything for you.
Well, that could be useful.
Right here.
You know?
So they, yeah, the
I could
explanation of it
use
is
a maid around my house, you know, with all my kids.
yeah, you're gonna be like, hey, the robot's gonna watch you for a while. I gotta go, but you know, you see here, like explains it for you. Here, watch. I'll show you. Check this out. Check this out. Oh my gosh.
Tesla made quite the splash at the recent Cybercab event by showcasing its humanoid Optimus robots alongside the introduction of the new Tesla Robovan vehicle. The Optimus robots were seen walking out as part of the grand reveal, leaving quite an impression. These robots are not just for show. Tesla Chief Executive Officer Elon Musk revealed some of their impressive capabilities. In a video, Optimus was shown performing tasks that would typically be handled by humans, like carrying a package inside from the porch and even watering plants. During the presentation, Elon Musk emphasized just how integrated these robots could become in everyday life, saying, "The Optimus will walk amongst you." According to him, you could walk right up to them, and they would serve drinks or help out in various ways. Musk further elaborated that the Optimus robot could practically do anything, including walking your dog, babysitting, or mowing the lawn. As for the price, he estimated that these robots would cost between $20,000 and $30,000 in the long run. Musk is not one to shy away from bold claims, and he declared that the Optimus could become the biggest product ever of any kind. After the presentation, live stream footage showed event attendees interacting with the robots. While the robots were not demonstrating all their capabilities yet, they did wave to the crowd and hand out small gift bags. One of the robots even engaged in a game of rock, paper, scissors with a guest. Although the robots were not seen performing more complex tasks like serving drinks just yet, they certainly drew attention. In one part of the event, a group of Optimus robots was spotted dancing inside an enclosed gazebo, adding an element of fun to the evening. Last year, Musk introduced a second-generation Optimus that was both lighter and faster than the original prototype. In the more recent announcement during Tesla's April earnings call, Musk said that Optimus robots would start performing useful tasks by the end of this year and could be available for sale externally by the end of next year. When the project was first announced in 2021, it was not taken very seriously. The introduction involved a person in a robot suit performing a lighthearted dance. However, in 2022, Tesla revealed a functional, though early-stage, prototype. Now Musk says that Optimus could revolutionize civilization and significantly improve economic productivity, with the potential for mass production in the millions, priced around.
Yeah, so there you go. Like what Tony was saying, taking over.
Well, it's gonna make humans obsolete.
Yep.
You know, in the sense of productivity and all that. You know, but these models of robots right here, you know, in probably 10 years from now, those are going to be like what a cassette is to a CD, right, or whatever. You know, it's going to be like, oh yeah, I remember those old models. You'll probably find them on Craigslist really cheap and stuff.
Well, can you imagine having that somebody living with you and then you're kind of like, you know, they're going to know all of your worst sides of you. They're going to know the time that you got mad at your wife or you yelled at your kid. They're going to know everything. Like they could subpoena the robot. Like, oh yeah, well we're gonna find out whether or not you're a wife beater. We're gonna subpoena your robot. And they're gonna go through all. Oh yeah, well, you know, on April 30th of 2024 at 9:16 p.m. he said exactly this. I mean, you're not going to get away from that. They're going to be, That's
Oh no, oh yeah, they'll be keeping a, Big Brother be keeping an eye on you. But the thing that they'll never be able to replicate is human emotion.
right.
That's
But I
one of the
wonder
things.
though, later though, they could. I mean, they could start developing.
Maybe I can't imagine it, because that's really all we really are is a machine.
Right. I mean, why
Biologically.
couldn't they? Why couldn't they develop human emotions even into the point where they could be so empathetic that they would be actually
But
like,
would they be real?
well, I don't know. I mean, a lot of humans develop, they have emotions, but they're not really real. Like they're kind of like fake. They kind of, even human beings, a lot of them are kind of emotionless, or they're not really giving you all the,
Yeah, there's plenty of those around.
So can you imagine having these robots? I mean, I don't know. Have you checked out Josiah's GPT translator?
No.
That is cool. I mean, like I was looking at it. So Josiah, well, let me explain it to you a little bit. Josiah?
Yeah, it's not a real-time translator, but it's a translation rendered with GPT. But the main utility of it is the textual variants that are documented, not so much that it's AI translation.
So it's GPT Bible, so you can pull it. This is the AI translation of the Bible. So they translate, for example, Revelation 1:8. That's how the GPT would translate it, and you can compare. And this is all taken. Dustin Smith, who's the that Unitarian, he's the guy who went over the language to make sure that it's copacetic and everything. And you can see the variants. Like you can click on things, and you can see. Josiah is the one who put this together. It's pretty impressive. Like, I am the Alpha and the Omega, the beginning and the end, says the Lord God. You can say here, absent from the Textus Receptus. And then you can compare it with the King James, or you can compare it with other translations. Like you just go up here and you can say, you can go it and you can click on that. And you can say, well, I want to look at the ASV, and you can compare it with the ASV. And then you can compare the rendering of it in the Greek New Testament, the revelation of Jesus Christ. You see the Greek word for Christ means fulfiller of Israelite expectations. I mean, Josiah did an amazing job on this. Him and Dustin, they put it together, and they did almost the whole New Testament. So it definitely is pretty impressive. Like, and you can look at like,
so it's more convenient.
Yeah,
for like research purposes, and
you can look at 1 Timothy 3:16,
scholarly purposes, and
you can look at 1 Timothy 3:16. It shows you that the word God was removed, right? It says here, 1 Timothy 3:16, and without doubt, the mystery of godliness is great. Who, and they put it up here, later manuscripts read God. And that, so that shows you the language of the Greek. So they remove all of the presupposed ideas, and then you can compare it with the King James, and you can see the certain they have footnotes and stuff in there. You can see here where it says, like I said, God. You can go up here and see if anything has a footnote. For example, what is it? We were going over Hebrews 1:8. It'll go over the footnote there, and you can compare it to the ASV translation. So Hebrews 1:8 here, but on the Son, your throne, O God, and it has a footnote there, and you can read it. Some writings have thy throne is God, and it's got really good like footnotes and explanations of stuff. See that in many readings here, you can see the essence, the later manuscripts. So definitely impressive.
It's good for cross-referencing.
Yeah, and it's AI.
Like kind of like on the spot type.
Right. Yeah. And it's AI.
To a lot of Christians, AI is a scary thing, especially when it comes to Bible translation. But if you read the preface and you understand the methodology that was used, it's very confined and strict the way it renders, and the whole idea is to make it as accurate and transparent as possible.
Yeah, I mean, the AI, what I've done is I've learned a lot, because I purchased, I think Grok is free now on Twitter, which is really, I don't have to pay for it. I can say, can you explain, and you use it for anything. You can say, explain. I can say, write a letter, write an apology letter, write an apology letter to my mother for eating all of her ice cream. I will replace it later and be sympathetic. I mean, you could add anything you want.
So you can have it do a college essay for you.
Oh, yeah. No, you can do it. So watch. Check this out. Dear Mom, I hope this letter finds you in good mood. I have something to confess, and I really genuinely regret my actions. Last night, I was feeling a bit down and found myself in the kitchen looking for something to cheer me up. Unfortunately, my search led me to your ice cream in the freezer. In a moment of weakness, I ate all of it. I know how much you were looking forward to enjoying it, and I'm truly sorry for not thinking about how my actions would affect you. Please forgive me for this. I understand it was thoughtless and inconsiderate. I promise to replace it as soon as I can. I mean, you can do anything. You can say,
it's deeply apologetic. Most humans couldn't be that.
No, that's what I'm saying. Is you can
are apologetic about.
You can write a romantic Valentine's letter to my girlfriend or wife, my wife, and compare her to, I don't know, a flower. I mean, it is crazy the stuff it does. On Valentine's Day approaches, my thoughts naturally turn to you, the one who has blossomed in my life like the most exquisite flower in the garden of love. Imagine a garden where every flower represents a person I've known, each with their own beauty and fragrance. I mean, the stuff that it comes up with is just insane.
You know what? We're living in the future now. It's
you can say write a poem.
We're on the cusp of it, but I'm not on the cusp, but I think we've entered the door. We're in our infancy. It's in its infancy.
And the garden of life, you can say, I have a cut, and you can take a picture. Like I said, all you have to do is click here, show a picture of your cut on your finger or a blister or whatever. It will diagnose it. It tells you exactly what to do, how to treat it, what to apply. I have a cut that is not deep, but it is red and has and there is little pain. What should I do? It will do, like I said, it does everything. You can ask how to change a battery, wash your hands before touching the wound, clean the wound, stop the bleeding, apply antiseptic. You can ask it more questions, cover the cut. You can say, like I said,
you can get rid of your doctor.
Yeah, how do I replace an electrical outlet? It tells you the tools you need. I mean, I don't use Google anymore. There's no need to, because it does everything. Here's how you do it. Here's a step-by-step how you replace a save. Tools you're going to need: a new electrical outlet, a screwdriver, wipe stripper, voltage tester, electrical tape, wire nuts. Turn off the power. Go to your electrical panel and turn off the circuit.
Make sure you do that.
Yeah. And then it goes through I think I might have interrupted it, but it goes through everything right down to the T. Like if you want to replace it, you can just click. I think it here. You just click this and then go down. So it will answer anything you want. It'll write a term paper for you. It'll write a song for you. It will do anything. Unscrew the outlet. I don't know why it's doing that. Did I feel my it's kind of locking up, but
I use it every day. I'm an engineer, and I actually use it for like complex engineering problems that involve chemistry and math, and it could show step by step, detailed. Like this is like more than just like a how-to. It's like a full,
and it's accurate.
Oh yeah. No, how do I sharpen? How do I sharpen a knife? I don't know why it's kind of getting flaky, but it might be my computer. Sharpen a knife can be done. Tools needed: a whetstone. Step 1, preparation. Clean the knife, wash and dry the knife to remove any debris. Set up your stone, determine the angle, sharpening. And you can say, like, I don't know why it said, how do I spackle a wall? It will tell you exactly how to do it and break it down. Tools you're going to need: a putty knife, sandpaper, how to spackle a wall. For preparation, clean the area, wipe away dust, apply the spackle. Small holes and cracks, use your putty knife to scoop out small amounts of spackle. Smoothing, drying time, sanding, cleaning. You can have it break it down, but you can say like, write an extensive, or just why did World War II happen, and who was involved? You can, like I said, Google is kind of so treated
I've
aside.
actually- yeah. I've
Something-
also used it to create code, like Python scripts.
Yeah,
that-
something's
that
gone on with it though, because
scrape websites and
it's kind of like, see how it's freezing. I've never had that happen to me
So
before.
this is a Twitter program.
Yeah, it's Twitter. They say it's free now, so it's
Okay.
free with Grok. You can just go over to. So if you go to here, if you go to Twitter, there should be a.
Well, here's the thing. I just recently joined Twitter, and
Okay.
so I'm way behind the game. In fact,
Yeah.
I don't even know how to get it moving. Maybe you guys.
Well, yeah, with Twitter, it's kind of like
I don't know how to connect with people or anything.
Well, with Twitter, you see, like, you can go. So here's Grok, but you can say home. You can say explore. You can search things. You can search for people. This is the news. You can see who's trending in Twitter. Twitter's got all the news. So you can say, like, for example, they have drones. These are my recent searches. Military admits drones are U.S. military. You can search for drones. Everyone calm down now about these drone sightings. Trump has confirmed the U.S. drones are about what's happening. You just click on the here.
Military knows where they took off from. If it's a garage, they can go right into that garage. They know where it came from and where it went.
So it's got everything. It's got the news. It's got people you can, the drones. You can search for things. But over here is Grok. And then you can ask a trivia question. Hopefully I reset it. So let me ask it again. How do I spackle SPAC? I can't even think right now. I've been so KLE spackle what's going on here? SPACKLE. What is that? That's right, isn't it? Am I even doing it? Yeah, I don't know maybe it's a how do I apply spackle to a room with textured walls? I don't know what's going on. That's why they have it wrong. Maybe a capital. So tells you preparation, clean the area, remove loose materials, fill holes or cracks, and smooth the spackle, match the texture, drying time, sanding. I mean, what question would you ask it, Tony? Like, what question would you have? Like, how you can say something about a guitar.
Well, for me, I just like to know how to connect with people on Twitter.
How? Okay.
Well, here's what I'm saying. I just started it, right? And it's
how connect?
Right, but like over Facebook, that's all I've been doing for like years, and I've got it built up. And most of the people that are on there now that are my so-called friends, I've never even met them or whatever.
Yes.
But for me, I would just like to really connect mainly with people that have my similar theological views and things like that.
Right. So you just basically have an account, and then you can set up, you can explore. So you would explore things. You could say search or whatever, and then you could say biblical Unitarian.
Mm-hmm.
My mind is so fried right now I can hardly think. But you can say biblical Unitarian, and you could basically go through, and you would see people that are biblical Unitarians. So you could say, I want to follow. There's me. I could follow them. These are some things that I put out there.
Okay, so some people might pop up or whatever.
Yeah, so you can say, if you want to know about biblical Unitarians, you can say, I'm a biblical Unitarian. Okay. You highlight over them, hover, and then you can say follow. It tells you he's a libertarian, he's a pastor, he's probably a biblical Unitarian. You can follow them. And then you can go down and you can look at his following. So people that he follows, you might want to follow also. You can go down and say, okay, who's he following? And you can click on it and you can say, he's following this person. He's following them. I want to follow. And then you can tailor it to be whether or not you want to receive notifications from them or whatever.
Sure.
I use it.
It's similar to Facebook in a little bit.
Yeah, I use it mostly for the news because the news, it goes on Twitter or X way before it hits the news. Like and the thing about it, it's realistic, like realistic war footage of Ukraine, and they show people on the front lines. Like they don't show the stuff in the news. Like they literally have real ground, like, and it's unedited, like they show dead bodies and stuff. Like this is
Right.
yeah,
It's not. Yeah, that probably.
yeah, they show everything. Like they show real fighting, war. You know, they have the gravel pits, people getting shot, like the bodies there. I mean, they don't look at that. They don't they don't cut back at all. They show everything right up. So you want news and you want it unfiltered and not rammed down your throat by mainstream media. You can go here and it's unedited. And so you can make your own decision.
Supposedly, that's one of the big reasons Musk wanted to do it, I think, and took it over because he wanted to keep that. He wanted to give you the real deal, you know, where it wasn't like, you know, biased and like, hey, speaking of biblical Unitarians, guys, I noticed I haven't seen you guys over there on 13 above lately, but I can't say I blame you a whole lot, but
I'm not going on again until they fix things. I'm not, because I pushed a lot of people from my channel. That's why he's got a lot. I'm not saying that all, but I pushed dozens of people over. And so, you know, he used to be getting 15, 20, but I've got a large.
It's your fault, huh?
No, it's not my. I don't know if I even made a difference, but I noticed that, you know, he used to have 17, 20, but then he's got a lot more now. And a lot of people have said, oh, I've come over from his channel because I've got more viewers. And so his channel, I was trying to push him over there, but I've gotten several emails and people saying, you know, you recommended the channel, but it's not really a channel for biblical Unitarians. It's more like a debate channel. So they really weren't interested. And so I had to kind of apologize and say, well, it wasn't like that. I mean, I thought they were pushing more for unity, but.
Well, I thought so too, but it just seems like it's kind of like, you know, anything goes, you know, really pretty much. And yeah, his channel the numbers are growing a little bit, but it's because it's like, you know, it's just like anything goes. And
that is attractive. I mean, you know, he goes sometimes streams for 8 hours. You're going to have hundreds of views if you're on for 8 hours a day.
Yeah, that's crazy. I don't know. He's retired, but
still though, you know, I can't go on for 8 hours. And some people, like, they had Jacob on there before, 6 hours on there. I mean, you know, I just don't have that time. And I don't want to argue, because when I get on there,
I hate people. That.
Yeah, they have people that are, then you've been asking for it for a long time. Hey, can we get back to fellowshipping and stuff? See, I had a fellowship today, and I had a guy come on and we talked about biblical Unitarian stuff, and we had a great talk. And then Stanley, who comes on Freddie's channel, popped in and he wanted to come on. And I was like, no, not now, Stanley. You know, I'm not going to have you on right now. And he left. Right. That's why I kind of opened this up, is I don't have a problem with having channels on sometimes having discussions and maybe debates, but when you have a biblical Unitarian fellowship, I think it should be strictly that.
Well, see, that's the thing. As far as Unitarian goes, I really don't know personally of any channels that have like a real strong, you know, they're really big on just kind of like speaking as one unified voice, you know, as Unitarians. And, you know, where they come together and do discuss things and, you know, because what happens is when you let, you know, just anything goes in there and you've got a person that thinks this, you got a Trinitarian, you got a oneness, you got a JW, you've got, you know, preterist, and you've got all this. And the next thing you know, it's just like, you know, it can be really confusing to a listening audience.
Yeah.
And I don't think that that's really productive in my mind, but you know, I've said this several times, and then I just kind of get, you know, demonized as whining and crying and all this stuff.
Listen, I love Freddie. But
I do too. Don't get me
Freddie,
wrong.
I know you do. I know you try to be constructive. I don't want to say this, but Freddie, you know, has a Twitter channel, and I used to do it too. He'll do like 12 hours a day, just arguing with Muslims all day. And I used to do it too. So I'm not blaming Freddie. I'm just saying that when you spend 12 hours a day going back and forth arguing, then it's not a surprise that you're having a YouTube channel and you're having the same thing and it's arguing again. See, so it's not, you know, and that's kind of one of the things that I got away from Twitter was it's the same thing daily, like the new day with arguing for Muslims. And I used to do it with Freddie too. So I'm not saying that he's at fault. I'm not, like I said, I don't want to talk bad about him, but that's something he likes to do.
What's his channel?
His channel's 13 above.
Right.
So his channel's 13 above, and he's got Freddie Churro, and and he's debating Muslims all the time, and he learns a lot. So I'm not blasting him. That's his deal. If he wants to do that, and if he wants to do that for 10 hours a day or whatever, and he enjoys it, hey, that's your deal. I'm not going to say anything bad about it. But I think that's kind of why the channel, he's so used to these years, and I did the same thing too. So but he's so used to having a Twitter channel, and he goes and he's trying to preach, but then he gets these Muslims on and he gets into these arguments, and it starts off well. Freddie means well, but then he gets into this area where it's debate.
He kind of gets sucked into it.
Yeah. And Freddie's a nice guy. Freddie wants to have the people truth. But so if you go to his Twitter channel, you'll see days, like 10 hours a day, just arguing with Muslims all day long, all day. And he's not gonna, I don't think he's not gonna convince them. So it's not any stretch of the imagination why he goes to YouTube, and it's basically the same thing, except it's on YouTube now.
Well, that makes sense. I didn't really know.
So that's the expression why. It's not that it's just that he's retired. He's trying to have fellowship. That's his ultimate goal. So I don't want to talk bad, but see, that's the problem with having a channel when you invite people up. It gets out of hand. And he probably enjoys the discussion because, some people just like to have discussions, and they like the debating and all that stuff. And I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying that you're not going to be able to develop a fellowship like that.
Right. It's not the right place for fellowship.
Right. And Freddie's voiced it to me before in the past. He's saying, well, I want to have fellowship. So it's not like he doesn't, but he has.
He does have a church though he goes to. So that might take care of that.
That is the thing
for him.
Exactly. That is the thing that we don't have. So Freddie is retired. I don't either. So Freddie has the benefit of going every Sunday and have a community. And so to him, he has no problem doing this because he's already got an established church. He's got people that he can go to, he can ask. So for him, he's got this, and that's great for him. But for people that don't have that, when they're looking for something, I don't have that. So he has an advantage that I don't have. And so I think if Freddie didn't have a channel, or if he didn't have a church that he was going to, if he didn't have a church that he was going to, then I think he would be more into pushing more of a fellowship community on his channel.
Right. He doesn't really have a need for it, is what you're saying.
And you can't blame him. I mean, like I said, that's his channel. I'm not going to talk bad about him.
Right.
He wants, I've spoken to him before. He wants a channel, but Freddie does like debating, and I do too. But I think Freddie doesn't have the need that other people do. And I think that's why Freddie doesn't really take it necessarily as seriously as I do, because I don't have a church like he does.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I was under the impression for a little while there that because he's real big on saying, well, this isn't my channel, this is everybody's channel. Right. And so we were making suggestions, because I just noticed it was just Trinity. Yeah. And it's just always the same thing, arguing over whether Jesus is God, and around and and it never really got anywhere. And it was just like, and in the midst, and for me, I get, just kind of, I mean, there's a place and time for it, but it's just a bit when that's like the only thing. And I come there as like to connect with, I hope to connect with people of like mind, so we can help each other grow and, support one another and grow as a community. But and he said that that's what he wanted to do. And I think he tried it for a minute there, and I thought it was good for a minute there, but a lot of people were unhappy because they felt excluded, and it was just kind of, I really think it's just a lot of people just kind of really like the adrenaline rush of debate. Yep. And it's like, the thrill of victory and the agony of defeat, that kind of thing. And I just, and I was just kind of like, okay, well, so I kind of stopped, trying, and just kind of just submitted to kind of what it is. But, I only really go in there if it's kind of interesting or.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing bad. Like I said, Freddie's got you. Like I said, that's how I met Freddie on Twitter, really. And we used to go hours and hours debating with Muslims and stuff. But after a while, to me, I just got so tired of it. It was the same thing every day. Like, you don't learn, like you don't grow. But Freddie enjoys it. And hey, everybody's different. Just because Freddie enjoys it, doesn't. So, but that's to give you an explanation of why Freddie has no problem with the YouTube doing this stuff, is because he likes engaging with people. He likes and he's learned a lot, engaged with Muslims. He's read the Quran. That's what he likes to do. He likes to basically he has people that he engages with, and it's kind of like going back and forth. It's kind of like friendships. You have friendships, you get together, you kind of like, and he's trying to win them over to Christianity. And so it fills his time because, like I said, he is retired. That's his deal.
Right.
And he engages with them. He likes them people.
I'm not.
And he has a good time. Yeah. So he has a good time on that. So that explains why it's more of a debate channel, because that's what he does on Twitter, is debate pretty much all the time. And so that's his mindset. And so when he goes on YouTube, it's easy to be drawn back into that type of mindset. And again, he has a church, which we don't. So to him, he's kind of like, it's kind of like you eat pancakes every single day, or you have pancakes, and then somebody wants to have pancakes, you don't want any more because you already have it. Us, we don't have any pancakes. We're not used to it. So we kind of have a need for fellowship, and we don't have anything. Like, there's no church. And
and I really wish that there, people, they hear, because a lot of people see me as kind of a party pooper, and they'll say, well, just start your own channel. And they're right. It's just like, well, I could do that, but I just don't have time. I'm raising
that's the thing,
kids, I work, and I just don't have the time for it. And it's I really wish there were something like that out there, but I'm not. If there is, I'm unaware of it.
Yeah, I don't have the time either. See, that's the thing, is I don't have the time either. And Freddie's channel, which I directed people to his channel because, like I said, I like Freddie. I want his channel to succeed. I've helped kind of his channel, but that's his deal, and I'm kind of disappointed. I'm not going on, not because I don't like Freddie. I do. I love Freddie, but
right. I don't
want to engage. I don't want to engage with the people that are on there. I don't want to engage with people that are sometimes angry, that curse and stuff. I just don't. If Freddie was just there with him and some other people, I'd come on, but I don't like Chris is on there. He's always nasty. He's always being demeaning in the comment section. He goes on other people's channels and berates me and talks bad and says, I don't know this and don't know that. And then you got other people going on that I'm not going to speak about. So it's just, I don't like most of the people that are on these channels to begin with. So why would I have these discussions with them, But so the Chat GPT stuff, I think Josiah deserves a lot of credit. I think people should push this more, and people start using it more, because when you become more familiar with things, then you're going to start using it, just become a habit, right? And Josiah's put a lot of work into it, and it saves a lot of time.
I'm going to have to take a look at that.
Yeah, and you should recommend it to people, because it's very powerful. It's just he put a lot of work into it. And so you can see all of the stuff. I mean, he's gone through like Dustin Smith, who's a scholar, whether people like him or not. He's pretty tenacious in what he does. And you can just go to John 1 and you can look at it. This is AI. AI's not really got a bias. That's how AI would translate it. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. You can look at it. It has some footnotes in there, and you can compare it to the King James, the ASV, the LEB. That's the Greek here. You can look at it in the Greek. See, the Greek New Testament. So it's pretty. That's what the Greek would say. And
I appreciate the plug.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to promote it as much as I can. And I forgot about it after you had the conversation because, life and everything. And so,
well, my just from what you're telling me, I think people are going to catch on to it, and I think it'll grow. Is what just from what you're telling me.
It's
because it's kind of fills in a lot of it makes things a lot easier.
It does.
And it's just because it's already been easier because of the internet.
Yeah,
because,
you can look at
you used to have to, I saw a meme the other day, and there was a girl. There's a picture of the 70s and a girl in school, and she was crouched over one of those. You go to the library and you got all those little file cards you pull out, and and it said like the internet of the 70s.
There you go. See, there's the GPT chat for Josiah hardcover. Talks about the resources, the Gospel of Luke, right? So it's basically they put a lot of work into it. It's he has algorithms that he has it from. He's got transformers that he uses it for. It's very professional. You can go to Book of Mark, chapter. I mean, this took lots of time. In the beginning of the gospel of Jesus Christ, you can see here, the Greek word is defined by Begg as a fulfiller of Israelites' expectation of a deliverer, the anointed one, the Messiah. And then here's the Greek. You don't have to look at the Greek. You can compare it to the King James if you want against the AI. As it is written in Isaiah the prophet, as it is written in the prophets, behold, I send them a messenger before your face who will prepare your way for you. Some manuscripts include that Latin, the Byzantine. So yeah, definitely a lot of work and good job, Josiah.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, it's sometimes I get a little discouraged because I put so many thousands of hours into it, and it's not widely known. And maybe I've sold I don't know, a couple dozen copies. So it's like
well, give it time. But like I said, if it was a
yeah, it's going
Trinitarian,
to take time.
Yeah, GPT has taken off, and like people are not really familiar. The people that I talk to, like even these people that even here, a lot of people are not familiar with GTP. They're just not. But GTP is so powerful, like we've seen. I mean, it does everything. Like I said, you can wearing. Have you used the picture? Have you seen that before, Tony?
No.
Check this out. Like, ask me to develop an image. What would you like me to develop an image of?
Develop an image of
something silly or whatever. Anything.
My brain is so tired right now. I can't even.
Someone
think of something for me.
Just Winston Churchill holding a Tommy gun.
Okay, photo image of Winston Churchill holding a Tommy gun with smoke coming out of the barrel.
With one of his famous quotes.
Okay. Coming. I don't know if it does quotes that well, but we'll see. Coming out of the barrel. Let's see. Yeah. So out of the was a Tommy gun is a 45, isn't it, like a rifle?
I don't. Yeah, it's like
with one of his famous quotes in the left side of the image in bold letters. I mean, you can do anything. You can develop Christmas cards. It is crazy the stuff that it does. That's not too realistic, but those are kind of.
It's crazy.
And so look at that.
That makes it like
look at that.
That can be quite convenient.
I mean, you can look at this and you can put look at this blood.
It's kind of hilarious, actually.
It is. No, it's funny. Never get look at. But you can put say generate an image of Donald Trump on the beach. I don't want to put like a Speedo, but on the beach wearing a snorkel. Can't even spell now. I'm so tired. Like my brain's not processing. Snorkel and a pink shirt that reads Kamala 2028, and then have Elon Musk skipping in the background. I mean, you can come up with all kinds of things. But once you learn AI, like you learn the way that it interprets things, then you can put certain words in to make it get what you want. Otherwise, it's kind of like you got to just figure it out.
Yeah, and it'll probably get even more.
Yeah. I mean, see, it doesn't really spell. See, some of the things are kind of like not too good, and if you don't like them, then you can simply click the up button. So there's Kamala 2028 Trump, and I didn't put goggles. So you click on that in Kronk, and you can say wearing a snorkel. Well, you don't have a snorkel. You don't wear a snorkel. I don't say like wearing a scuba mask, and a snorkel, having a snorkel in his mouth. And then, but it'll do like images for your website if you want religious website stuff. It'll ask any question you ask about, compare John 1 to this and whatever, make a good argument of why it's this. I mean, the clarity and it's just pretty impressive on what you can do with it. That's obviously like, and they're realistic. You know, I mean, you can say generate a photorealistic image. So you can say
It sure makes memes easy.
Oh yeah, you can say generate a hyper realistic photo quality yeah, it just makes memeing. I mean, you can just I mean, as somebody like you can get better at it though with different words. Like I said, you know, it's hilarious.
I could see where it could become addicting.
No, it is like, yeah, you can do, well, it helps you anything. Like you can say, how do I talk to my wife about not wanting to take out the trash? I mean, you can do anything. Talk to your wife. Can be sensitive, especially if it involves household responsibility. Here's how you can approach this. Choose the right time. Timing is key. Pick a moment when neither of you is stressed, tired, or in the middle of another task. Maybe suggest having this conversation at a calm, quiet time. Prepare your thoughts, knowing what to say. Avoid blame. Instead of saying, you always make me take out the trash, say, I feel overwhelmed in this particular chore because, insert your reason. This approach focuses on your feelings and actions. Listen to her perspective, empathy, understand her viewpoints. Alternatives. Can we alternate weeks for taking out the trash? Or is there another chore who I could take on instead? Or what if we did it together on weekends to make a trash?
It sounds like a lot of work to make excuses not to take out the trash.
Compromise. Be willing to find a middle ground. Acknowledge shared responsibility. Lighthearted. If it fits the mood, keep the conversation light. You could even make a small jest about neither of you enjoys this task, which can ease the tension. And then revisit. Remember, communication in marriage. I've been thinking about chores and I feel like I'm struggling with taking out the trash. Could we possibly switch some other tasks around? I'm happy to do another chore if you could take this one for another. I mean, you could, yeah, it
gives very reasonable, solutions to making excuses for taking out the trash.
Yeah. I mean, it does anything like how to make a well-done steak. I should say how to cook it. Ingredients: choose a cut, but together chunks or raw meat. Might salt and pepper, skill or grill. Preparation: bring it to a room temperature. Remove the steak from the refrigerator about 30 minutes before cooking to let it come to room temperature. It helps cook the steak more evenly. Seasoning: preheat your surface. Searing: cooking to a well done. I mean, Google is no longer something that you need because you don't need to Google anything. Like you could say, compare World War II to World War I. And I mean, you could just ask it anything and it breaks it down. Causes. Well, the cause of World War II immediate trigger was the assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand. World War I, rather. The World War II was due to unresolved issues from World War I, especially the harsh terms of the Treaty of Versailles, which led to economic distress in Germany. I mean, it just breaks things down for you. Like you don't need to go with Google. You need to find all of these different articles and all of these different things and trying to find things. You know, you can say, how is Donald Trump like Kamala Harris? I mean, you can ask the stupidest things and try to, and it'll break down things that it goes all over the internet, all of the resources it has to find similarities. I mean, it's insane. Political ambition. They both have clear ambitions for high office. Trump ran and became president in 2016, while Harris, asserted vice president, ran 2024. Media presence. They both have a strong media presence. Public controversy. Each has been the center of controversy. Legal background. I mean, you can ask it anything. It's insane. Anything about the Bible. I mean, explain what does John mean by in the beginning was the Word, and it'll give you like the Orthodox. You can say, give me different interpretations of John 1. And it's really helpful for biblical stuff. I mean, you learn so much like about the Bible. I mean, Trinitarian interpretation, Arian. This is how Arians interpret it. Sabellian, modalism, Unitarian perspectives. I mean, you know.
Hey guys, I got my wife family just got home. I got to go help unload groceries.
All right, Tony. Hey,
I just wanted to stop by and say hi to you guys. I hadn't seen
Thanks.
you.
God bless you, man.
Good to see you, man.
Yeah, you too. I'll see you guys around. Okay.
Yeah. Peace, love, and blessings to you. Yeah. So sorry, I didn't mean to get off that, but man, you've done great work on the Chat GPT. Highly recommend it, and I'll recommend it to other people.
Thanks. Yeah, I'm looking forward to doing more of this next year.
Yeah, it hasn't gone unnoticed. You know, just like I said, you made a great impression on me, but I kind of forgot about it because life and other things. And I mean, you put a lot of work into it, and clearly it's an amazing product. And I think with time, as more people are familiar with Chat GPT, it just has to be out there. People get used to it, because when you're not familiar with something, and then you just kind of like stick with the old things die hard, right? Like you're used to Google. And for me, it took a while for me to even get into Grok, but accessibility, people are used to certain things and they have a habit of doing it, you know, and so definitely, hopefully people watch this and more people.
I'm encouraged, brother. I appreciate that.
Yeah. So fantastic work. I mean, it's, I recognize how much work it takes and how much work you put into it. It's not something, you know, it's going to take time. More people are becoming aware of Chat GPT, and most people that are into Chat GPT or more into the Bible are not really into Chat GPT. This is the younger generation a lot of times, you know, and people that are more technological. The old people, I don't really think they, like when I was talking to my parents, and they're not old, but when I talked to my parents, they had no idea about even GTP. So, you know, the younger crowd, I think maybe is a little bit more familiar. But the older, you know, people, I don't think they're.
Ever since March of last year, I've been using it almost daily for all sorts of stuff. But you did a good job of covering, you know, a wide spectrum of use cases.
Yeah, I just find it fascinating that, I mean, you can look at this in Trinitarian theology, and again, it's free for Grok. I don't know how good it is. Grok is kind of. I used Chat GPT in the past, and I think it has a little bit more, it's more verbose, like it has more information. This kind of breaks it down in layman's term quick. But what I like about it is it does diagnose things like cuts. And I wish I could save it. Like I want to show people the amazing medical, like people have diagnosed cancer with it. I've seen some stories on it where it tells you it's not a doctor, but it can basically help you with things. Let me see if I can put I just want to see people. Let's see if I can pull up just a splinter. Like I just want to show people something where it can diagnose something medical. Like what you need to do. Download preview. Let me see if I can save it. So I want to say I'm gonna save a screenshot so I know that it's gonna actually save to my images. So let me save this, and I'll show that. Let's see if it diagnoses this. And I scan people's like aspirin and stuff like that, and it finds it, like it tells you exactly what it is. It's pretty amazing. So let's see. Let me share this screen here with Grok. So I'm going to go back to Grok and share my screen here. So present, stop screen, present, and I'll show a sliver. So let me go to Grok here, and I'll pull in a sliver. So here, and we got that, which is a sliver, and we'll submit it. So it talks about a splinter piece of wood with background appearing to be texture, surface, possibly more wood or bark. This could relate to several topics. Gardening or woodworking. Well, that's just not very very inclusive, but you can show like a prescription bottle, like prescription bottle. Let's see, bottle prescription with name on it. And you, like I said, you can go up there, you can take a photo. So if you're in the field somewhere and you run across a piece of metal or a tool that you have no idea what it is, you take a picture of it. You just hold it up, you click on that little paper clip, and you take a picture with your camera, and it will tell you exactly what it is. It'll tell you, oh, this looks like, and it'll tell you like, this looks like something from a 2nd century or whatever, or 4th century. I mean, it tells you the date, the time, like around when it was, if it's whether or not it's got a European type of architecture to it. I mean, it's insane. It'll blow you away. So we can go here and go into Grok and look at this prescription thing. It might return different results based upon, I downloaded this off the internet. So let's see what it says. Pharmacy, quick pharmacy, pharmacist Daniel Tate. Prescription drugs, placebo, that's the placebo. It tells you the placebo that's associated with it, the dosage. Instructions, the patient name, Crosby, consult your doctor. I mean, that's what they get from this scan here, right? And so it tells you, even when you take a picture of it, it tells you the generic form of it. It tells you what the generic form of it is and how much to take right here. And you can say, here, this is the generic. The generic is, oh, I guess placebo. You can say, can I overdose on this medication by accident? Oops, by accident. Medication not taken as directed, not following dosage recommendations. How much does this medication, oh my gosh, cost? Doesn't really tell. In price, insurance coverage details, and price range examples. Wow, $2,770 for a box of 30. Dang. Australia. Yeah. Anyway, I thought that was pretty interesting. So.
Yeah, I don't know why anyone would do a web search anymore when you could just straight up ask it detailed questions.
Not when you're used to it, especially. Yeah. So why would anybody do a web search on the Bible when they have Bible GTP, right? When they have when you have the Bible, the critical Bible.
Well, yeah, essentially the AI is doing it for you. It's searching.
Yeah.
But then you don't get all the advertising and stuff.
Right. No,
this whole thing is hurting Google big time because all the search advertising is just going down the drain when people don't have to use a search engine.
And they can't be like Google's been, they've abused their searching by withholding things, and that's why I like Grok is, Elon Musk bought it for like 64 billion or something billion, but he said you can't put a price on freedom of speech, right?
Yeah, that's X. Yeah. Yeah, he did it. Yeah. I mean, it's one of the greatest developments in modern history is taking over Twitter. If he hadn't done that, I don't know if Trump would have won the election.
No, I don't think so. I think he would have been. You want to mute your mic, bro? Yeah, I don't think he would have won the election. That helped a lot because rapid, dissemination of information. And I'm going to mute your mic because I'm talking. It's a lot of feedback, so don't unmute it, please. Yeah, but So that helped out win the election. I'm sure of it. We were able to push stuff that you would never get out on. Remember when Twitter was under the rule of the Democrats, you couldn't really put anything out there. They would ban you or they would remove it. So I really think it helped.
Yeah. It went from being social engineering where only the left could be free to express their opinions to a balanced platform where those those who were banned got back on the platform.
They hated it. They hated the fact that they were not in control of this anymore. And now it's even better. Now they have community notes. So when somebody publishes something that's false, there's a community note that's available. So when you read something like Donald Trump raped 2 women, and they put that out there, there's a community note that people can attach to it that will tell you this is not true, this was debunked, and give you the information on it, and you can rate it whether or not it was good. So it gets rid of a lot of false things that people say that are just not true and propaganda, right? Like this is a picture of, so-and-so on, like Donald Trump was, and they'd say, no, this is not true, this is a fabricated image, and it leads you to the real image. So it's really helpful. It's really a good platform. But hey, I got Christian Knight on. Hey, Christian Knight, what's going on?
Hey, what's up, man? What you doing?
Who's this? Is that Spirit of Truth? Who's this, Christian Knight?
Oh,
You had a different name, right? Is this the ex-Trinitarian that became a biblical Unitarian recently?
yeah.
Oh, okay.
There.
Yeah, I remember you used to make videos about me on my channel, so you kind of like decided that, hey, maybe he's not speaking so much trash after all. You got some really
welcome to the community, man.
Yeah, I used to be a Trinitarian, and so explain. You got some really bad mic. Are you on a phone or something? Like your mic sound is horrible. Like when you make videos, it's really hard to hear. Maybe you got like a mic issue or something. But anyway,
hey, Christian man.
Yeah.
Sorry to jump back on here, but there was something I meant to tell you. Are you familiar with? I thought this image might really help you with, anytime you're doing some kind of Trinitarian, apologetics or whatever against it. So have you ever heard of the Penrose? Have you ever heard of the Penrose triangle?
Hold on a second. Let me mute this guy's mic because it's kind of loud. Hold on a second.
Yeah.
So let me. I'll be like this. I'll be like. So Tony's telling me. What was that, Tony?
Type this in. Just put in Penrose. That's how it's spelled. Penrose. Penrose triangle.
Pen or pin.
Like an ink pen. Put in Penrose triangle, or impossible triangle. It's also called. And I really like the image that's on Reddit, but there's a image of it. Check it out.
Let's see here.
You're going to like it. And I'll tell you which one it is.
I shouldn't have done image because now it's going to give me it's going to develop an image. So, actually it's showing me.
Yeah, it was there's a really good image of it on Reddit.
I'll have to find that. So let me see. What's the Penrose triangle? Impossible triangle. Let's see. What's that? So you'd have to ask it, like, what is that?
Like if you just Google it.
What's going on? So what is a Penrose triangle? Is that something that's on Reddit? It's like it's something that's exclusive to them, or what?
Well, there's just a really cool. There's a really cool image on.
Also known as the impossible. It's right here. Also known as the impossible triangle. It's a famous optical illusion that creates the impression of a triangle that cannot exist in three-dimensional space. Oh yeah, I have a video on. There's a guy that does the Penrose triangle with Carl Sagan.
So the whole thing is that Penrose triangle, the Trinity makes as much sense as this Penrose triangle does. It doesn't make any sense. So, but it's a really good image for like for one of your videos or something. I just thought I'd point that out real quick.
Yeah, they have it. They have explaining the Trinity, and they have a video that goes through that. They have explaining the video, explaining the Trinity triangle, and then it's kind of like 3D. So watch. So this is kind of like what you're talking about. The Trinity explained. And they have a triangle that he goes through right here. So this is what they talk about. This is exactly the insanity that you're talking about. So here's, they got I'll show you something. Along the lines of what you have, watch. I'll show you exactly, you brought something up that's funny because this is exactly what this guy talks about. Watch this. This is insane. Watch this. The Trinity explained. Now watch. Here, and he gets into the triangle. Watch this right here. Is this? Oh no, this is a cube. I think this is the cube. Watch, check this out.
But they are mathematically sound, entirely logical, and might even exist in some sense beyond our three-dimensional universe. So just because we can't fathom what a four-dimensional cube would look like, that doesn't mean one doesn't exist. As Carl Sagan explained.
Let's consider a cube. We can imagine a cube in the following way. You take a line segment.
So I take it back. It wasn't a triangle, it was a cube. But let's listen to this.
And move it at right angles to itself in equal length. That makes a square. Move that square in equal length at right angles to itself, and you have a cube. Now, this cube, we understand, casts a shadow. And that shadow we recognize. It's, ordinarily drawn in third grade classrooms as two squares with their vertices connected. Now, if we look at the shadow of a three-dimensional object in 2 dimensions, we see that, in this case, not all the lines appear equal. Not all the angles are right angles. The three-dimensional object has not been perfectly represented in its projection in 2 dimensions, but that's part of the cost of losing a dimension in the projection. Now, let's take this three-dimensional cube and project it, carry it through a 4th physical dimension. Not that way, not that way, not that way, but at right angles to those 3 directions. I can't show you what direction that is, but imagine that there is a 4th physical dimension. In that case, we would generate a 4-dimensional hypercube, which is also called a tesseract. I cannot show you a tesseract because I and you are trapped in 3 dimensions. But what I can show you is the shadow in 3 dimensions of a 4-dimensional hypercube or tesseract. This is it. And you can see it's 2 nested cubes, all the vertices connected by lines. And now the real tesseract in 4 dimensions would have all the lines of equal length and all the angles right angles. That's not what we see here, but that's the penalty of projection. So you see, while we cannot imagine the world of 4 dimensions, we can certainly think about it.
So if tesseracts in higher dimensions can exist, we can see a good analogy of how God could exist as 3 in 1, even though we cannot fathom such a thing within our limited 3-dimensional understanding. For us, it is rather simple. Everyone is one person. But on a higher plane of existence, one could be multiple persons while being one being. As C.S. Lewis said, the human level is a simple and rather empty level. On the human level, one person is one being, and any 2 persons are 2 separate beings, just as, in 2 dimensions, say on a flat sheet of paper, 1 square is 1 figure, and any 2 squares are 2 separate figures. On the divine level, you still find personality.
What do you guys think about that? Is that nonsense or what? Trying to explain the Trinity and how it doesn't have to be taught, but huh?
No, I'm convinced. I have to reform now.
that video has gotten almost 1 million views.
Yeah, I think a lot of inspiring philosophy stuff is it's deceitful. It's kind of like a hand trick where you're making an argument based on a fallacy. For example, there's things in physics that aren't explainable or easy to comprehend or visualize, and therefore God, is in some similar sense incomprehensible.
Right.
That's irrelevant. It's like, what is the biblical testimony
right.
of God?
Well, that's what that Penrose triangle is. I just sent a link to the image I was talking about. I don't know if you can see it, but it just look at it for a second, and it quickly brought the Trinity to mind because it just doesn't make. It's a triangle and it doesn't make any sense. So.
But
that's exactly what it would be like.
I mean, for some people, that's pretty persuasive. It's like, okay, yeah, there's things that exist that we can't make sense of, so therefore, we should just accept this divine mystery of the Godhead being 3 persons.
Well, what they say is that the biblical Unitarian perspective is Oh, I pulled it up, but somebody cussed on it, but that's exactly right. Like, let me see if I can pull it up. This impossible triangle. So let me show up what he's talking about, what Tony is talking about. That's funny. This is funny. Engineering feat here. Look at that. Impossible triangle. Huh?
I would say, wow.
Yeah. So what do you think about that, guys?
Our eyes trick us, right? It's an optical illusion.
Yeah. So yeah, the impossible triangle
makes a lot of sense, doesn't it?
makes a lot of sense to me. Yeah.
There's the
Let's
Trinity.
see. Well, look at this though. Look at this. The impossible triangle. You have what is the other one? The tesseract or whatever it calls it. Where's that at? The tesseract. Oh, I can't find it. Oh, here, back here. The tesseract. I just played it. Anybody there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, the tesseract. Let's see. Tesseract mosaic. Oh, let's see that. YouTube. Trinity translation. The guy had cussing on there he said F it or whatever. Penrose triangle. You got anything to say there, Christian Knight?
Hey, can you hear me, Cia?
Can you guys hear him?
Hey, Cia.
No,
Can you hear
your
me now?
microphone is so buggy.
Tony, can you hear Christian Knight?
Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Tony, can you hear Christian Knight?
Hey,
No.
Hey, CM, can you hear me?
No.
No, we can't hear you.
Oh, can you hear me now?
It's very
Josiah,
faint.
can you hear him?
Barely.
Huh?
Barely.
Okay, now?
Your audio is like oversaturated. You try and turn it up and it becomes oversaturated.
Hello?
Something's messed up with your audio setup.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
Can you put, like, you have a microphone or something on there?
No, I don't.
Huh?
No, I don't.
Well, can you add a microphone or whatever?
No, I can't.
Okay.
What are you using?
I'm on my phone right now.
Okay, well. Yeah, I think I'm going to probably end it anyway because we had the chat GPT. We got Josiah on. Tony had to leave. Tony had to go. And maybe we can have another discussion Christian night on something else. But your microphone is too bad.
Oh, sorry about that.
No, that's okay.
Oh, you can hear me now, Cia?
Huh?
You can hear me now?
I can hear you, but barely. It's just not good.
Oh, okay. I need to get a better phone.
Yeah.
Yeah, get a better phone. Or use your PC or something.
Anything else anybody wants to say?
I just want to say it's been a pleasure and an honor to be here with you, and I appreciate all the plugs and bringing my work to greater awareness. And I think you're an extremely smart and effective apologist, and I'm looking forward to hanging out more in the future and working together to build community and promote the truth.
I appreciate that. Yeah, Soldier in Christ, can you come on when your volume is a little better? Because I can't really even hear you right now.
Oh, okay. I'll come when my volume is better, Cia.
Huh?
I'll come to you when my volume is better.
Yeah, I can't hear anything that he's got to say right now. So,
I'll say good night. God bless.
Anything you want to say more about Chat GPT?
there's just no way to put your head in the sand and pretend like it doesn't exist. This is what's happening. There's no way to stop it. So we need to embrace technology or we're going to get left behind. So people who are kind of superstitious about technology, AI, they have to understand technology could be used for good or for bad. It's the same with any technology. The internet has good things. It gives us access to information, but also the internet gives us access to all sorts of bad things. So every technology can be used. It's technology itself isn't good or evil. It's the way that it's used. So we shouldn't be afraid of technology just because it's advanced, but we should be using it in an appropriate and responsible way.
Right. So you have anything to say about your product? Like, not your product, but how can people purchase it? Can people purchase this product, or where are you going to, like, can you fill us in on more things that would be beneficial to learning more about Chat GPT?
Well, I mean, I have, I have my publications. If you go to gpt.bible, you can have access to it free online, but also buy the printed editions. I also have the book of Paul that I published. We didn't talk about that, but I think it's one of the most, it's going to have the biggest impact in being an inspirational tool for people in their daily life. Can you mute yourself, Christian?
Yeah, can you mute yourself, sir? Like, that's, I don't know what's going on with that. Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah. So, I'm good. Plans to do a lot more other things.
I'll probably cut out that stuff with his mic because it's like nobody's going to want to listen to that. But,
it's no problem. Yeah, I think it's revolutionary. It gives people access to information that virtually no English resource provides. So it's a one-of-a-kind reference for textual studies in understanding that putting the pieces together to understand where there's variants that have significance theologically with respect to doctrine, and just get a better appreciation for how the text had been changed and evolved in its early transmission. So I think it's indispensable. We need a translation that's reliable and that gives you that full multi-layer transparency, the top layer being the translation, and then behind the translation, the variants. And behind the variants, footnotes that describe syntactic ambiguity in different ways that the text can be rendered. And yeah, so that's giving people an essential resource. I have all the websites that provide greater insight into like doctrinal issues or issues related to theology and criticism. A lot of people kind of, I'm doing a lot to expose, issues with the canon and the New Testament itself and reliability of like John and Matthew and things like that, which is controversial. But yeah, I'm doing what God's called me to do, and that's just to shed light and be a modern day reformer.
You've done, Josiah, you've done a lot of amazing work. So I don't, you don't get the respect you deserve, but I've seen I've seen your websites, and they're like, you're impressive. So, I think that a lot of people don't reach out to you and let you know, but your work is very impressive and you're very smart. And so I don't want you to think that, like, sometimes you might get discouraged and think, well, no, lots of people I think people just don't like, a lot of people have inventions that people don't really like, they don't notice, but there's such an amazing product. So it has nothing to do with the fact that your product is amazing. It's just that people don't understand the magnitude of the work that goes behind it and how amazing it is. That's the thing, is people don't respect and appreciate it because they just don't know what's going on behind the scenes. They look at a product and they kind of, oh, well, there's lots of websites out there or whatever. What's different from this? But they don't realize that the significance of it. So I want you to know that, man, I really Like I'm impressed with it. It's pretty amazing.
I appreciate that. That's awesome, man. It's been a tough year for me. I had to focus on employment and getting my finances in order, and so it's been tough balancing all these things, but still managed to publish John, and Paul, the Book of Paul. I also did develop this True Unitarian GPT and did some other articles. But next year, I'm hoping to get back on YouTube more and continue pushing forward.
That's fantastic. I'm impressed, and like I said, if people really realize and I think it's going to take off. Like the more people come across it, you just got to advertise it. And it's kind of frustrating to try to advertise it the right way. Like, how are people going to pick it up? It's just promotion and advertising. And it's not that the products, some products never make it off the ground because they're not like, they don't hit the niche, or they don't hit the certain, the time variable or whatever, the temporal strategy. So I definitely want to let you know that it's impressive. And
for sure. Yeah. It's a long-term game, it's the long term. So once it's finished, I'm going to be more aggressive, but I think I'll start doing some paid promotion. Like I need to spend a few $1,000s or something,
right,
to really break through and get more people to to know it's out there.
Yeah, no, I definitely will promote it as much as I can. I'll put it on my page, and I'm going to start using it a lot more also. So,
yeah, awesome.
I'm so tired right now. I can barely even talk and type. So, but
yeah,
hey,
we need to have more fellowship, and
we do.
I'm not sure if on YouTube is the right place to do that, but
I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I think YouTube, I like to do it like I'd be off camera, but I'd be on camera, but I don't want to be on the internet. Like do it private or something. I don't want to be all over. Like I don't mind being on camera if I'm not like on the internet with everybody can see. I have a problem with that. I don't like doing that. People take snippets and they make videos about you. So I don't mind fellowship, and I want to fellowship with people, but I don't want to like be out on the internet,
Yeah, I created a new Discord that's invite only so that random people can't join it. And
that'd be cool.
We're trying to have fellowship every week on Saturday. So I can invite you to that if you're interested.
Tony's like, I agree a lot with Tony. I've learned a lot from Tony. Tony is somebody that he wants truth. He wants fellowship. He'll go on and talk, but I can really tell Tony is somebody that wants fellowship and seeks fellowship, and he's a true seeker. And I've learned a lot from him. Like I learned the resurrection, so I like to learn. Like I just don't want to go on and like teach what I believe all the time. I want to be able to learn, and I learn a lot from you. I learn a lot from Tony, and I've had things, in the past, which you're aware, all these things, bad stuff, whatever. I've learned to distance myself from people, but also not get pulled into things that were bad. And so I'm trying to be more fellowship and not more. I don't see, when you don't have a team of people that you can count on, you kind of fall away. Like I'm single, I'm not married, never been married, I'm younger. So there's a lot out there that would persuade me and kind of get me into bad areas. And when you don't have a fellowship, when you don't have somebody that you're accountable to, or a church or something, you can really get into trouble, so that's the problem that I have, is I want fellowship and community, and I just don't see that. And that's why Freddie, I love Freddie, but Freddie's got a church that he goes to, and he's not really that concerned. And I can't blame him. Like, I don't want to blame Freddie. Freddie's got his own deal going, and he likes it. And then, hey, that's his deal. He probably draws people there, and maybe it'll work, and maybe he'll get through to people. But I just can't go there myself because they attack me personally and stuff. And I don't like that.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd like to have a yearly event where we can just like go, rent a cabin near a lake and have like sort of a camp experience where we do activities together, and we have a spiritual time, and just develop a personal relationship. Maybe if it's just once a year, and then we have that to leverage in our communications through electronic means. But yeah, it'd be good to have some like team building and just kind of fellowship, community building activities that we actually meet in person.
Right. Yeah, that would be cool. I'd be up to that. Hey, have you met Ralph before?
No, what's up, Ralph? Nice
What's
to
up,
meet
Ralph? Ralph, give a little bit of your Trinitarian, Unitarian background, man. He's a rock star.
Hey, bro, I wanted to say hi. I've been listening to you, man. I appreciate all your effort and what you're doing, man. I deeply appreciate that, bro. Thank you so much. My background, I was homeless for a very long time. I was Trinitarian for a long time. I was married. I'm single now. For the last year, I've been a biblical Unitarian. I don't even go to Trinitarian sites anymore. I don't want to attack anybody. I go to sites where I want to learn from. I want to learn, the truth. I don't want truth muddied with lies. You know what I mean? Common Sense and me have been chatting very often. I would say almost every day. He's been a very dear brother to me. I really appreciate him. I try and, be in his corner for him, I don't know how, but just through prayer and, encouraging him and stuff. There's no churches around where I live, to go to church and have fellowship. I live by myself. I'm a musician, so that keeps me kind of occupied. But, other than that, it gets kind of like, got to really kind of like hold the line because, there are things that lead you, your mind kind of starts to wander and you're like, well, but, you got to kind of like, no, it's, you kind of learn the difference and stuff like that. But, I just wanted to come on and just give my, say hi, bro. And, I learned some things tonight. I got some things written down. I didn't know anything about that GPT. They're just learning, that's what it's all about, and not Bible thumping people, that's not how you do things, There's balance in everything, so I acknowledge the Father as the only true God and his Son, the Messiah, no problem with that, I don't do the Trinitarian thing at all, I'm not even in that ballpark, you know what I mean? So when I pray, I pray to the Father in the name of Christ, and just love the Father and the Son, and just want to have some people, just to chat with and, just express the love and gratitude that I appreciate people like you, bro.
Hey, I appreciate that. Ralph. Oh, yeah, mute your mic. Ralph's a straight shooter, so it's nice. We had the guy that come on. Unfortunately, he had a mic issue, but he was a biblical Trinitarian. He used to make videos attacking me all the time, and I didn't know. But then he actually became a biblical Unitarian within the past couple of days. So that's great. I mean, so you can reach people, and we just need to have community. We need to have fellowship like we do it now. We need to have fellowship.
Yeah, we need to work together and not do things that are counterproductive.
Because Josiah, when you come on, then we can learn about things. You can learn about the tools that you have, but you're not going to learn about these things if we're just having these discussions, and Tony, like I said, I've learned a lot from Tony. I want to learn too. Like my channel is to teach what I've taught, but I learned from Josiah, I learned from Tony, I learned from Ralph. My teachings on here are a collective of things that I've learned. So I don't want to get up and act like I'm just this wizard. I'm not. I'm basically echoing things that I've learned from other people, what I've learned from myself. And if I can save somebody else some time, and if somebody can help me, that's what I want. I want a community where I can learn. And what I don't get is when I go on these channels, when they have these debates, I'm not learning anything, And so if I hadn't listened to Tony about, Tony was kind of in my face when I believed that, and some people might disagree, but I believe that Christ was begotten at the resurrection. And I said, no, it was more of the baptism thing. And Tony was like, no. And so I was kind of like pushing Tony away going, yeah, okay, whatever, but I actually listened to him and I started doing some more reading on it. And it was just like, it just stood out. So I like that. I like to be able to learn from people, even though I think that I had the truth at that time. I just put it aside, and I learned from different perspectives from Ralph, from Josiah. We've all studied, like we all were Trinitarian at one time, and we studied enough to like figure out that it's not true. And Josiah's got an incredible amount of knowledge, especially with the engineering side on Bible verses. You should check out his websites, man. They are insane. Like what are the website? What's your main website?
If you go to integritysyndicate.com, it has a list of all the websites.
Yeah, and you got to check this stuff out. This guy.
There's about 30 to 40 of them.
No, check out Integrity Syndicate, you guys. This is like this guy. Like I was like, I didn't. Let me get this. Yeah, he's the development. I mean, he's got a great template, but the websites he's come up with, man, I'm just like, they're nuts. Like they're so good, well put together. I mean, look at this stuff. And he's got a website list. I mean, it's just, he's a GPT, he's got the integritysyndicate.com, he's got the KB. I mean, look at that. You know how much work that takes? And they're just so well put together. I mean, he's got agency he can go through. So Ralph, if you want information and you want it from a biblical Unitarian perspective and also not biased, I mean, Josiah he's not biased. Like he's a truth seeker, right? And so you can see like biblical agency. Check this out. Jesus is not God. He goes through biblical agency on this understanding. I mean, look at this. This is nuts, the amount of stuff that he's got on here. I mean, so anybody that's listening or wants just some quick synopsis of stuff, this is amazing stuff here. I mean, this is like, to me, this is probably the most informative biblical Unitarian website out there, but bar none. It's just got tons of stuff. And I've seen David Perchetto use it. I've seen other people reference it. So, hats off to Josiah for just amount of time that he puts into this amount of research is just unbelievable.
Yeah, it's taken me thousands of hours. I've been at it for years, and I appreciate you giving me some accolades for that.
Tell you what, man, it's certainly not unnoticed by me, and other people also. Other people have mentioned it, like this, like they really are blown away by the content of the material, and so they use it. But you might not get an email saying, "Man, I really love your stuff," but people use it, and it's just not like promoted enough. Like it's such fantastic material, and you don't get the recognition that you deserve. My opinion. I mean,
thanks, my friend.
I mean, what do you think about that, Ralph? I mean, you got to bookmark that, because the amount of information that's on Josiah's website, like you can learn about so many things. You can learn about Christology. You can learn about biblical agency, answering agency objections. I mean, there's no other website that I know of. I mean, you got Biblical Unitarian, but it's not that. This has a lot more stuff in this. I mean, look at this.
Yeah, that's a full list of deductive arguments that Jesus is not God. There's
no. See, you got an incredible mind. Did you use GTP for this stuff too, kind of, or no? No, this is
most of my sites were developed before 2023 when.
Yeah, I noticed that.
Some of my articles on base theology, where I just kind of do articles on various topics, I use GPT on some of those. Like I did one to refute flat Earth, where I use GPT. I just get random arguments that GPT is easy to make a quick article presenting a rebuttal to certain things, certain claims.
Right. No, man, it's insane the amount of work. Like I've gone to Carlos Xavier's website. They're great, but they're not, like these are like a mammoth of stuff. I mean, you got so much information. You could spend thousands and thousands of hours on here, like just reading about stuff and learning the biblical Unitarian side. So I definitely this is why I like fellowshipping, because we can back each other up. We can promote each other's works. People, when you have channels Freddie, like I said, I love him, but you don't get this kind of stuff where you develop friendships and you develop camaraderie and you develop kind of lifting each other up and just learning from each other, so that I just, I wish that you had it. Well, you're busy and everything with your channel, but I remember people used to go to your channel and that was kind of a channel to go to, but things change, people move on and stuff, but hopefully.
Yeah, with my channel, I never tried to be dogmatic. It was all about like having different perspectives and
right.
Yeah, just clarifying that Unitarians can differ on certain interpretations, but it doesn't change our theological framework.
Right. Yeah,
Um,
maybe we can have some discussion sometimes, because I heard you talk about John and all these things, which, I don't dismiss. A lot of people are going, oh, he's a demon. I don't dismiss a lot of stuff because I haven't studied as much as you have. So I don't want to say things that I might disagree, but how can I disagree if I haven't studied as much as you have? I haven't studied it like that. So, I don't want to say that John, I think you believe John 1 is not, or John is not legit, right? Or something like that. To me, I haven't studied it. I don't want to say that I agree or disagree or whatever. I don't know. I would hope that it would be legit, but I guess it could go either way. And maybe that's a discussion for another day. But then to me, that would start introducing a lot of maybe kind of like uncertainty about the Bible itself to me. So maybe I'm just not ready to explore that possibility.
Yeah, it's a hard pill for some people to swallow.
It would be. I think maybe it'd be better.
It makes most Unitarians uncomfortable to question the canon, but
ignorance might be bliss, sometimes.
I'm under the conviction that the canon should be questioned, and that's really that's the key to really undermining the traditional stronghold. Is knowing that the degree to which the tradition has been corrupted,
right?
So I understand it might be a bridge too far for some people, but over time, people like David and others come around and can see the evidence, and then it becomes a greater and greater conviction over time. The more you look at it critically. If you look at it uncritically and you don't want to question, it's kind of prevents you from not seeing things with blinders on, or it's a big blind spot that most Christians have.
Yeah.
But there's a solution. That's if people deconstruct to where they're not as confident in the Bible as it's been presented to them, it's the solution is just simply emphasizing the core gospel message, and in Luke, Acts, and Paul, there's all this peripheral stuff that becomes a diversion and a distraction from that core gospel message. So I emphasize sort of as the core embodiment of apostolic Christianity as primary authorities of Luke, Acts, and Paul's writings, his letters, and then I'm a little bit more critical of, or a lot more critical of, everything else. Not everything else, but especially John and Matthew. It's John is the source of so much confusion and division throughout the centuries. It led to the development of Trinitarian dogma. It probably also helped Islam flourish, and because of the Trinitarian development in Orthodoxy, and it's written in a way that's cryptic and ambiguous, and there's different ways to interpret different passages. So it lends itself to abuse and misinterpretation. And you just get into these endless arguments and loops going over, what particular verses in John means, when there's other verses that are explicitly clear that Jesus, has one, the Father's the only God, and Jesus has a God, and Jesus is God's agent, God sent one.
Well, John is kind of like, to me, it's one of the biggest monotheistic Bibles.
It is.
Because
it is, but still there's those verses which are twisted and manipulated to bring confusion. And that's not the reason I reject John. I reject it because there's so much evidence that it's a later development, and that I regard it as mostly fictional.
Well, you know what? I tell you, a lot of people are apprehensive and they don't want to entertain the possibility. But hey, we know, like the canon, we got the 66 books or whatever. There's some books like the Book of Enoch that didn't make it in. So, I don't see Josiah as somebody that's Josiah is somebody that's very articulate, but also he studies a lot and he digs into stuff. So if somebody like that says that it's not true, then at least weigh it out and research it yourself. And if you find out it's not true, then it doesn't really shed. I mean, you're still a Christian, right? You still believe in the Bible.
If you take Luke, Acts, and Paul to heart, I don't see how you can go wrong. That you have
right.
so much substance there.
Yeah. So it's the overall gospel message. I think, to me, this is how I am. I'm like, I believe in the Bible. I believe that it's God's word. But hey, if it came out to be that God used analogies and storylines like the boy that cried wolf or whatever to get a point across, that all the stories were not, and I'm not saying that. So I don't want people to misrepresent me or think that I'm saying that the Bible is just a bunch of poppycock. I'm just saying that if it came out that for some reason they proved that certain stories were not legit, I have no problem believing that God is probably a wonderful storyteller, just like people would tell stories to the children to emphasize a point, to get a point across. It doesn't mean that necessarily that these things actually happen. It wouldn't ruin my faith. What we know is that the Bible is powerful. It changes lives. It transforms life. And I think the overall message is more important than whether or not there was an actual snake in the garden and whether it was a real snake. We know that things happened and things became calamity because of it. So that's kind of what I would look at.
Yeah,
I think
my faith doesn't rest on the infallibility of the Bible as it's been handed onto us. It's
nor mine.
It's infallibility of the gospel message and the God of the Bible. I don't worship the Bible. I worship the God of the Bible. And so we can use our critical the faculties that we have that God gave us to sort what biblical references we can have more confidence than others in. And I've come to the conviction that the best source material that we have is Luke, Acts, and Paul. And there's enough there. There's enough there. That's half the New Testament. So if Luke, who endeavored to relay all things accurately, so that Theophilus might know the truth of what was been taught, if he's lacking anything in his account of what the apostles preached in the ministry of Christ, then that would be a big failure. But we see in Acts that we see the core testimony of the apostles, and that's simply that Jesus is the Christ, and God will judge the world through him.
Right.
And so it's not that complicated. And so if people deconstruct from a traditionalist view that has all the baggage of orthodoxy and just come to a simplified, primitive Christian apostolic view of the core gospel message, then I think that frees us to focus on those things that truly do matter.
Right. Yeah. Well, Josiah, you gotta.
Yeah, I think the same thing, more or less. Like, as far as when you're reading the Bible, you take it, at face value. You don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. We can read, and understand there's one God, one Savior, the Lord Jesus Christ. Well, God was called Savior too, but it's kind of like, it's just kind of like you understand, there's only two to be known, we take what Jesus said, his gospel to heart, and we don't take away or add to it. We pray to him as our Lord, and we pray to God as our God. How hard is that? I've been learning a lot. I've been going to all the biblical Unitarian sites, and I'm just drinking it out of the water hose. I'm like, give me more. It's not like I'm like, give me more. It's not like I'm telling anybody. Except for my couple friends that I have around here. I'm like, I got this female that lives right next door. And she was a Trinitarian, and I told her what I thought, about 4 months ago. And she's like, wow, dude. She's all, you made more sense in 15 minutes than you ever have. And I was like, I got rid of that Trinity baggage. I was like, that's just a complete flop, you know.
Well, Trinity is. Oh, sorry. The Trinity is it's dangerous because it keeps people in confusion. People decide, well, it's a mystery. I don't really want to go into the Bible because it's not going to make sense to me. Whenever I start seeing something that's a little bit problematic for me and it just defies common sense, logic, and reasoning, I'm going to discard it and just say it's a mystery. And so you don't dig into this mystery and figure out whether or not it's a mystery or whether or not you're being lied to. You know, oh, God is three persons in one. It's not there. It's a mystery. You know, Jesus is fully God and fully man. Well, wait a minute. How can you be fully something and fully something else? That defines common sense, logic, and reason. Oh, it's a mystery. You know, it's there. And so I think it makes you reliant on the mystery that's in the Bible. So you're not going to dig into it and see what's actually going on. When something doesn't make sense and those little spider senses start tingling, you're just going to go, that's a mystery. But it's just like maybe recommend her to go to Josiah's website. It's got a lot of information on biblical agency. I mean, you got to really appreciate a lot of this stuff because agency is critical and it breaks things down where you're going to go all over Google. You're going to go all over Google and you're going to try to find things. It breaks it down and how it's explained. It gives you instances where Jesus is identified as the one sent, the Shaliah, right? The fullness, God sent his son. All of these instances, the Jewish encyclopedia. So this is kind of like going to Google, but on steroids because you get it all in a concise format. You get all of these references here, right? And so if you want to understand agency, why go to Google and why go to all these other websites when it breaks it all down for you? You've got everything broken down. You've got the quotes in here. You've got the verses in there. I mean, really, this is kind of like a biblical Unitarian treasure trove with all kinds of stuff. It's got the best translations to go to. I mean, you know, Josiah really needs to have people give him credit where credit is due because that's a lot of work. I've designed websites before. I put stuff in. Man, it takes a lot of work. And so you can tell Josiah is he's just really into that kind of stuff. And he really has an appreciation for scripture and the Bible. So it's not like Josiah, like he says he dismisses John. It's not like hasn't weighed it out and looked at it and he's trying to deceive you. Josiah obviously cares about the Lord and he cares about truth in the Bible. He's not going to spend thousands and thousands of hours into it if he's just going to blow smoke, you know. So, you know, at least and like I said, if it's true and Josiah's preaching the truth and it is false, then at least know and do your own research. That's all Josiah and those others are asking is do your own research, check it out. Here's this information. If you find out that it's not legit, then that's your decision, but at least check it out, right?
Yeah, there's issues with John.com.
The way I look at it, bro, is like if you put all that amount of work into it and you put all your time and effort into it, you did the heavy lifting, bro. I'll just dig in, you know what I mean?
Amen.
But then some people will call, you know, Josiah, he's a teacher about false teacher. You know, David, they were calling Jay's, you know, you got to put, you know, we were told the Trinity was true for a long time. We see people misrepresenting what the Bible is. So, you know, it wouldn't go past them to insert John. I'm not saying that they have, and I'm not saying I buy into that. I'm just saying that if they manipulate scripture that much and they insert verses, well, what makes you think that they wouldn't do something like that to deceive you and throw you off? Because that's what they go to usually is the book of John to try and make their case. But you can see the other gospels, Luke and Mark, they don't talk like John does. So there's something a little bit amiss there. And that's what they're saying is and he's not trying to say that make it, you know, just lose your belief in the Bible altogether and destroy your faith. That's not what he's saying. He's saying that this could be a red flag and it doesn't necessarily fit in. And he's done it. Do you think Josiah hasn't done his research? I mean, he's done a lot of research. I mean, he basically sleeps and breathes a lot of the stuff. So you got to at least if people are reputable and people have spent time and at least listen to them. And he's not going to try to like haunt your dreams or he's going to try to like persuade you. He's like, he's confident enough in what he believes. He doesn't really care if you're going to like jump on the bandwagon or whatever, but if like with Tony was teaching me something that was contrary to what I believed, I didn't really want to listen. Well, I said, no, I don't think so. And he said, no, hold on now. And I was kind of like, nah, I didn't really want to buy into it, but I'm glad I listened because I was wrong. So, you got to be ready to be wrong. And then I'm somebody, if I find out that if I'm wrong, I'm not going to argue for it. I'm not going to pound my hand and fight and say no out of pride. I'll jump in a second. I have no problem. And that's what I like about Tony and Josiah and people is I want people on this channel or other channels that seek truth, because I'm weighing. And if you come up with something and I know that you're a seeker of truth and you see this way, I'm going to go, okay, I'm going to trust you a lot more than if I present something to you and you go, no, can't be that way. And see, that's where I have a problem, because then I can't really trust you as far as maybe you're deceived and you're just so prideful, you're not even going to know. And see, then you're going to lead both of us off of a cliff. So you always have to have your tentacles out, kind of seeking the truth and searching and stuff. And that's why I see that with Tony. I see that with Freddie. Actually, Freddie's the same way. Freddie does. And Josiah and Ralph. And that's why I fellowship here. We need to spend more time trying to fellowship with other people, right? And prop other people up. Give people like Josiah credit where it's due. Promote their work and promote biblical Unitarianism. So I really appreciate you guys coming on. Maybe we can have another discussion some other time, and have fellowship and maybe talk about some other things and go over some more of Josiah's website or whatever. Let's just dig in and preach the gospel, preach the truth, and learn.
Hallelujah. Sounds good. Hallelujah.
Well, Josiah, it's been nice speaking with you.
I was going to say one thing. I will be the first one to admit I make mistakes. I am not perfect. You know what I mean? I will let everyone know. That's why I'm learning. If I say I knew it all, then I wouldn't need God, right?
That's right.
Amen. So you guys got anything to say on your way out? I'll give you whatever time you need to say whatever, if you want to go now or whatever. But hey, it's been an honor talking with both of you. I learned a lot. And it's been a great conversation. I like conversations like this.
Great to meet you, Ralph.
Yep, Ralph's a great guy.
Yeah.
Hey, bro, you know what? I'm so glad
testimony.
to meet you, bro. I'm going to dig my heels into that, bro. So you're on YouTube, and I got a bunch of things written down. It's an honor and a privilege to meet you. I got good talking to you, CM. I let you guys go ahead and have your discussion. I love you guys in the Lord, and I hope you have a good night. Okay.
Love you too, brother. Be safe out there and keep up the good fight.
God bless you, man.
God bless. So yeah, thanks for coming on, Josiah. Anything you got to say other than creating fantastic websites and helping? I mean, that helps us out a lot with this. And I really hope and pray, and I know that you will reap the benefits of your hard work, whether it's through people, through spiritual enlightenment, or just appreciation of your work. It's not gone unnoticed. A lot of people have spoken to me about it because I've mentioned it. I go, Dad, did you see that? The stuff that he's pushing on, they said, yeah, man, it's like incredible. So it's not that necessarily you might get it publicly, but a lot of people have mentioned that you have an insane amount of talent, and you guys have done, you and Dustin have put together an insane collection. And I really think that year or two or whatever down the road, you're really going to get appreciation for what you've done, because more people are opening up and becoming aware of GTP. It's just taking time,
Yeah. I'm looking forward to it. 2025 is going to be.
Don't give up, man. Just keep plugging away at that and keep building it, because it's helped a lot of people. It certainly has helped me, and your websites are just amazing. So I just want to say that.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it. It's very encouraging. I really needed this. It's such a blessing to be.
Well, you're like I said, I've known you for a while, and people have spoken about it, but people through passing have said, Josiah, man, that guy he's like an incredible amount of knowledge wrapped up and David Brachetto, a lot of people like Faithful Theology, a lot of people bounce off your channel, and they really talk about how well it's put together. So I don't think anything can really compare to it. Really, I've gone on to like One God Report or One God Worship. She's got a pretty good channel, but the amount of stuff that you have on yours and the way it's put together is just I don't think there's any other biblical Unitarian channel out there that can even touch it at all. So I really I use it. I appreciate the amount of stuff that's gone on it. I just haven't I use it for myself.
You're referring to the YouTube channel?
No, I'm referring to your websites.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, the websites are, I put so much of my heart and soul into those.
Yeah.
Each and every one of them.
Yeah.
So yeah, I pray, and I'm encouraged that it's a blessing to many.
It is a blessing. It's blessed a lot of people. So, whenever you're discouraged or whatever, I wouldn't, because, hey, God sees the work you do, but also people out there, you reach a lot of people. I've recommended it. People go on. And hopefully people will go on. And now it's just like people become familiar with websites that they go to, but it's a new website. So people they're kind of reluctant to change, really. But once you start getting into it, man, it's just like, it's overwhelming how much stuff. It's like going to a store and you're getting like all this information,
Yeah, there's so much substance and depth. And I try not to be too much depth, but it's more than a lot of people are used to. So
yeah, I mean, some people go to, they want to break down a little bit of information, but this has got so much, like I said, it's just an incredible resource. I mean, look at that. Like, it's just like, it goes and goes and goes. So definitely highly recommend. I forget to use sites sometimes. Sometimes I go to, like, I'll just go to GPT, or I'll go to like just basic websites that don't have a lot, but I'm going to start using it a lot more, because it's got like so much information in it that really would take a long time to just go through it, So, but you can just search, if you want to search on certain things, you want quick Bible verses, and it gives you the proximate ultimate causation. So I think it's been a blessing for you to come on, because it helped me realize some new things. I kind of got reintroduced to your GTP. So maybe it was for me and maybe it was for you. I don't know, but hopefully people will support Josiah. He's a biblical Unitarian. He's got a tremendous amount of work. Do you have like a donation site that people can donate to? Or I know you don't like asking, but if people can donate financially or whatever, is there a link to that? Hopefully there is.
Yeah, most of the websites have like a PayPal donation link on the bottom. But the biggest thing people can do to help is just promote awareness.
Right.
It would help if people bought, some of the Amazon publications and left a nice review and something like that. But I'm not asking.
Sure.
I mean, I need a good bankroll to like do what I need. I want, what God's called me to do. And eventually I trust that that'll fall into place. But every little bit will help.
Sure.
Even if it's not paying my salary or anything like that, having a small budget to do some paid advertising on YouTube, just to cover those expenses, the website expenses, any little bit would help and be appreciated.
Yeah,
but
because when you put that much time and effort into it, it takes away from your job or whatever, your family. This is sacrifice. So there's nothing wrong with receiving donations that help you say, hey, here's a little bit of money that you can put together to help, because you're not only spending time, you're also spending your own money. And that's something that's going for the benefit of God, but other people are benefiting from it. And if you benefit from it, then support. Other people support ministries. I mean, Sam Shimon's got a Patreon of like 700 people. I mean, come on. So there's, people need to start supporting people financially, send, money in and help people like you continue their efforts on what you're doing. And you do a fantastic job, and you're going to be rewarded. It might not be like today, but it's going to come, and I think it's going to be taken off, because people are going to be more familiar with it. People are becoming more familiar with ChatGPT in general. And, you can't, I mean, I don't need to talk to you about it, because, lots of people who have been have been turned away from their inventions, and then they keep at it. They're persistent, and eventually it bears fruit, and they explode. But in the beginning, they're told, oh, it's not going to amount to anything, but they don't give up. So that's kind of how I see you.
Praise God.
So
yeah, I was just inspired by Winston Churchill just this last couple of days.
Yeah.
And one thing he says, success consists of going from failure to failure without the loss of enthusiasm.
There you go.
And so like everything kind of seems like a failure if it doesn't like widely get noticed or embraced. And then I'm putting so much work into all these projects and my time and money. And it's just I can't lose enthusiasm, and I'm so blessed by your encouragement, because I need, I'm only human. And it's positive feedback is the most valuable thing I could have at this time in my life. So
no, it's like I said, it's not just cool. It's jaw dropping. And like I said, I'm a developer. I know skill and talent when I see it, and it's something that somebody that's not in that wouldn't appreciate. Like, there's so many different websites out there. The average person browses your channel and they're okay, and they don't appreciate the time it takes to develop stuff like that. That's the problem. Is you can see something like maybe woodworking. They can say, wow, this person's really skilled. Look at all these things. Easier to notice. But when you stumble upon a channel that's got this much data and this much knowledge and stuff, it's easy to pass it by with people that don't appreciate the coding the design that goes behind it, and the time and the effort that goes behind it. But I certainly do, because I know how much time and effort it takes. So when you're around that and you're in that field, you have a respect for it, because like for example, just simple coding that makes it look simple. Like Apple, a lot of the designs and stuff seem really simple. Well, the coding that it takes to make simplicity something that's familiar to somebody is extremely difficult. Okay, it's very hard to code and get something that works very simple. And so that, people don't notice, it's very simple. They don't understand the complexity behind it that makes it simple for them. And that's what I appreciate. So
GPT.Bible, that's been in development for over a year. I have a dear brother in the Lord, shouts out to Yuri, who's a professional developer, a software guru, who's made it functional and helped make so many improvements, and we have a lot more planned. But yeah, God has brought people into my life to provide critical. Like there's no way I could do that level of website development for GPT.Bible. So thank God for him. He's done it completely on his own, without any charge or anything else, and he's hosting it without charge.
It's kind of like Elon Musk. He's not developing the rockets, but he's the guy behind it. He's the guy that has the vision, and then he hires people to help him do it. So you're behind it all. You just have things that come together. You get people to work, and that's the genius of putting stuff together. So I appreciate you coming on, and it's been a great conversation. And support Josiah. Support him. Send him some. Donate to his PayPal or whatever. There's nothing wrong with that. I would encourage it. And is there like on your website?
There's also a link to join a mailing list, which is like something I haven't sent an email in like 6 months.
What is that?
It's basically just so that I have your email, and so when I can update people.
How can people message you, like email?
Josiah at integritysyndicate.com is my email.
Integritysyndicate.com. But your website is, I'll put it in the comment section here. Integrity Syndicate. Yeah.
If people want to interact with me, frequently, you can email me. You can join the Integrity Syndicate Discord server, or you can, connect with me on Facebook or X. I'm on X as well as Base Theology. I don't use it as much as I should, but after talking to you, I think I'll use it a lot more now.
Yeah. All right, man. Well, hey, brother, I appreciate you coming on. It's been a pleasure talking with you, and I really hope that I'll pray that you get the just people checking out your website, but also the appreciation that you deserve, and just people going to your website and actually using it, and giving you feedback, reaching out and letting you know that what a blessing it is, because it certainly has been for me. It's been a lot of resource, a lot of help for me in agency and stuff, which, you know, that's the key a lot of times to biblical Unitarianism, is understanding agency. So you've been a big help for me learning, and that GTP Bible Jet GTP is off the hook. That's amazing. And I'm going to have to start becoming more like using it on a regular basis, because like I said, I'm kind of a creature of habit. Sometimes I just forget to use it, but it's even using it tonight. I'm like, wow, I didn't notice this stuff before because I hadn't spent so much time. So I really appreciate you popping on and giving me a run through it.
Yeah, I can't wait till the next time, man. I'm
man.
so,
Well, hey,
so blessed and excited and joyed to have to be, to work together and praise the Lord.
We're a small group, and we need to, like, that's the benefit of having a group of fellowship, because we need, you're kind of out there, we're all kind of out on our own doing our own thing, and it's kind of like we don't have the thousands and thousands of people that might reach out and go, great job, we got like 10 or maybe 5. So it's kind of like disheartening sometimes, and you kind of feel like you're an island. But
yeah, it just takes a few solid people to work together,
exactly,
with the same vision, and everyone wants to do their own thing, and
that's a problem.
We can just we'll always have differences and whatnot, but if we can have a vision and collaborate and coordinate our efforts together, we can do so much more.
Yep. Well, it's been a blessing having you on, Josiah. I appreciate you, and may God bless you, and may you continue just rocking and rolling on this Bible GTP and your websites, man. They're just amazing.
Cheers, brothers. Much love.
Much love to you. Have a great night.
God bless you. You too. Have a good night. Bye-bye.
Yep. Yeah, so I really enjoyed conversing with Josiah and Tony and Ralph. I love things like that. I love fellowshipping with people. I miss that because we don't have, it's just always arguing with people, arguing about the Trinity. To be fair, this channel was dedicated to be a Trinitarian, just not destroyer, I shouldn't say that, but just anti-Trinity. That's what I focused on. So yeah, I did make videos on the Trinity, and it maybe sounded like kind of a broken record, but that's what I specialized on. Kind of like you have a specialty and you go for it. And so I did videos on other things, but my channel was dedicated to just bashing the Trinity daily. That's what I wanted to do. So it wasn't that I didn't have any other content. That's what I wanted to specialize in, to just basically beat it into a pulp. And I think I've done that. I don't think that I've really, there's not really anything that I'd really like to do other than that. And that's kind of why I wanted to get away from YouTube. It's just, to me, and that's nice to have a reminder of people like Josiah out there that are fellowshipping, that you can connect with, that remind you of that maybe YouTube is a good place to meet. You just gotta connect with the right people, and you have to coordinate with each other, and you have to combine your resources, whether or not Josiah needs help with financial stuff. Because again, if you're using his resources and it takes time, support him, donate some money to him, because he's got to pay for it out of his own pocket. So he's not only providing a benefit and something that you can use, but he's paying for it himself. And, I don't put the time and effort that Josiah has done to GTP. I've done videos and stuff, and people have said, no, you should monetize your channel and make money off of it. And I don't have a problem with that. I haven't done it. I haven't really thought about it, but I pay for subscriptions myself. I do it. But is there anything wrong with that? No, there's not. There's nothing wrong with it. And, it's kind of sad that people don't really offer money to other people to help them out, because a little bit goes a long way. Not only encouragement, he's going to turn around, and the money that he has, when he spends hours upon hours, he could be out making money. He could be out doing things. He could be out spending time with his family, but he chooses to sacrifice his time, and time is money, to do the website. So there's nothing wrong with a little bit of kickback for an incentive. But when you're down to spending all this time working, and then you don't really get recognition, and then you're spending money, then you start questioning things and you have doubts. But when you have people that support you, people that send you donations, that goes a long way, right? Especially in our community where we don't have a lot of people. So God bless people like Josiah that they're warriors, right? They're warriors that often go unnoticed, right? We don't have the thousands of people like Sam Shamoon that goes on and he gets lots of money because he goes on and insults people, and he has these daily shows and they get lots of money. It's not fair. It's not fair, right? So, God knows what Josiah is doing, and people also need to appreciate him and other people that have really a lot of, and like people like Dustin Smith, who helps Josiah, and he has a channel that you can donate to. Just start, and that's why these fellowship instances are very important, because we learn things like that. But when we're debating people, and our arguments are just on debating and attacking other people and other Trinity, we don't learn. We don't figure out what people need. We don't figure out people that need support. And just talking, like just today, just one little today, what did I learn? I learned a lot. I learned a lot more than I learned on other channels when I'm debating the Trinity. I'll tell you that much. So, support people like Josiah. Send money to him. Go on his websites, find his PayPal, and send him $50, $100, or whatever you got. More people, the better. Adds up, right? It adds up. So, argues for the birds. Yeah, I'm not arguing. So, God bless you, everybody. Take care. And I might edit this video. I want to leave it. I don't want to take it down. I want to leave it up because we have a great discussion. But when I had the thing that Tony didn't know, but I pulled up the Penrose triangle. It had the F word on it, and I was kind of like, oh, I didn't know what to say. I was kind of at a loss for words when it came up. And I know Tony didn't mean that, but it was kind of like, okay, now I got to play that back, and it's got that F word on there and stuff. So I don't know. I'm not gonna cut it because it's got so much good information with Josiah and stuff. I don't want to get rid of that. So, but hopefully we can have Josiah on again, and we can have more chat GTP and Bible GTP discussions and stuff like that. But it's been a great conversation. I love conversations like that. I love just talking and fellowshipping and talking about the Bible and whatever. Man, that beats 8 hours or 5 hours of debating the Trinity and having Jehovah's Witnesses coming up and yelling and screaming and F words and F bombs and then going away. So God bless you. Just strengthen each other, fellowship with each other. When they have channels that are just debating and arguing, don't just, take time to maybe go out and reach somebody out in the streets that you have time available to do that. You're going to reach people far more. And there might be somebody, if you're not out there looking for people are not going to come into your path. If you're just going to a certain place and arguing, you're not going to be able to reach people. Use your time wisely. You don't know how much time you've got. Right. So anyway, I got to go. God bless you. Thanks, Josiah. Thanks, Ralph. Thanks, Josiah and Warrior, the guy. I'm sorry that you weren't able to come on and your mic was mute. You just got to get some headphones, dude. Like if you have a phone, plug in some headphones to your phone and use those headphones at like $10 or whatever. And then you can have a good microphone, because man, I don't know what's going on. Either it's your computer or whatever, but it sounds horrible. And I really wanted to talk to you and stuff, but it just didn't sound too good. So sorry. But anyway, God bless you. I got to go. Good night. Peace and love to you. And hopefully we'll talk again. I'm trying to get away from YouTube, but this is encouraging. I like fellowshipping with people. Hey, I just saw Tony's comment, but that was from 5:30. So I was gonna say good time. Yeah. Anyway, good night. God bless, and peace and love to you and your families, and take care.